In Touch publisher says they are planning to appeal the decision. This is America in the Morning at 23 before the hour. I'm John Trout. Sports with Robert Workman coming up. Presidential frontrunners for the Democrats and Republicans celebrate big wins in New York. Terry Moore has the results.
At a victory rally, Clinton told supporters there is no place like home.
The race for the Democratic nomination is in the home stretch, and victory is in sight.
Trump made a similar claim.
We don't have much of a race anymore. Senator Cruz is just about mathematically eliminated.
That would be Trump's chief rival, Senator Ted Cruz, who moved on to Philadelphia ahead of next week's Pennsylvania primary.
The people in state after state have made it clear. They cry out for a new path.
Democrat Bernie Sanders also moved past New York, taking his populist message to Penn State.
Not only do we have a corrupt campaign finance system, we have a rigged economy.
Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, and Maryland hold primaries next week. I'm Terry Moore reporting.
22 before the hour with more on yesterday's primary in the Empire State. Here's Jim Bohannon.
New York has gone as predicted for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in a pretty decisive fashion, and we're going to be talking about that and where we stand in this presidential race with James Antle, politics editor at the Washington Examiner. Okay, first of all, for the Republican race, how important is it that Donald Trump racked up a huge victory? I mean, monstrous, and beyond that, it wasn't even close, the battle for second place. Kasich coming in second, and Ted Cruz a distant third.
Well, New York has so many delegates that it helps to at least partially negate some of Cruz's recent gains, and it also changes the narrative that Trump was starting to lose his momentum in the Republican presidential race, and Cruz was starting to catch up. This really sort of reestablishes and reentrenches Trump as the frontrunner and puts Cruz a little bit back behind.
Now, for the Democrats, a substantial double-digit victory, nowhere near Trumpian in scale, but Hillary Clinton still the winner over Bernie Sanders in what is, of course, Sanders' state of birth. Granted, Hillary represented the state for 8 years in the U.S. Senate. That proved to be a stronger call. But after a string of Sanders' victories, does this blunt his momentum?
I think it does. Hillary Clinton already had a pretty strong delegate lead going into New York. This makes her lead even bigger, makes it even harder for Bernie Sanders to ever catch her. Democrats don't do winner-take-all states. Big advantage Sanders had going into New York was the perceived momentum from his recent wins. His winning streak is now over. Advantage Clinton.
Yeah. Now then, looking at the general election race here, you have at the moment what shapes up as the potential for two of the most unpopular major party nominees, I suppose, ever. I'm not aware of a period in the past when we had a handle on public sentiment where you had two nominees, assuming that Trump and Clinton get it, who were so unpopular with so much of the electorate. Obviously popular enough with some people to get where they seem to be going. But in that case, do we have a battle of the negatives? Do we have a lot of people just staying home? What do you foresee should it be Trump and Clinton in November?
The combined unpopularity of these two presumptive nominees is really a big wild card in this race. It looks like Hillary Clinton is planning on using fear and loathing of Donald Trump as a substitute for enthusiasm for Barack Obama as a way to get Democratic voters out to the polls, especially young people and minorities. And Donald Trump, and perhaps to a lesser extent Ted Cruz, be heavily reliant on depressed turnout by swing voters, in Trump's case in particular, higher turnout among non-college whites, an electorate that looks a little bit more like Trump's, uses Hillary Clinton's unpopularity to his advantage.
Is it possible that we could see an outsider win the Republican nomination, assuming that there is nobody with a majority on the first ballot in Cleveland at the GOP convention? Could we see somebody other than, by outsider, I'm talking about someone other than the three remaining contenders, the white knight theory?
It is possible, but I think it is less likely based on the fact that Paul Ryan, one of the likelier white knights under that scenario, has not only said he would not run for the job and would not accept the nomination, but he is discouraging the idea of somebody who is not a candidate receiving the nomination. Secondly, you're seeing such a huge supermajority of the delegates and votes won going to either Donald Trump or Ted Cruz. Denying one of those two candidates the nomination would be problematic enough. It might be an insurmountable political crisis for the Republican Party to deny it to them both.
What are the chances that the convention might impose a running mate on the eventual nominee?
That's something that I think could be a little bit more likely, particularly if it goes into second, third, fourth, fifth ballot, or that there's a lot of negotiating that goes into the nomination process immediately ahead of the convention in Cleveland. It could be that what ultimately swings some delegates towards one of the candidates or the other is some assurances as to who the vice presidential candidate would be.
And for the Democrats, if Bernie Sanders cannot win the nomination, which seems to be the conventional wisdom, what can he win with an awful lot of delegates and an awful lot of support as they gather in Philadelphia? Just exactly what can he extract? I would be hard-pressed to imagine him as Hillary's running mate, but can he nudge the platform to the left? What can he do?
Bernie Sanders has already had a lot of success in nudging the Democratic platform to the left and causing Hillary Clinton to really have to reposition herself on a number of issues and repudiate a lot of her husband's legacy, that sort of 1990s triangulation, centrist Democrat, New Democrat legacy, and you might see more of that if Bernie Sanders can go into the convention, obviously not likely to win, but with a lot of votes and with a lot of delegates.
Our guest is Jim Antle, politics editor at The Washington Examiner.
Find Jim Bohannon on Twitter at Jimbo Talks. It's coming up on 16 now before the hour. Next on America in the Morning, a name that does not float their boat. Back after these messages.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
That is fast, like rocket fast.
It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access.org number 3030.
Want to know the secret to success, kid? One thing, the Grainger catalog and Grainger.com. Okay, that's two things. Oh, and Grainger's got mobile apps. Those sure are convenient. 3 things to succeed. Hey, and 1-800-GRAINGER. I know that number by heart. 4 things. There's hundreds of branches, too. Like I said, the one secret to keep this place running smoothly is Grainger. Get it? Got it? Good. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Financial advice you can understand on the Dave Ramsey Show.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge. The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it. Hi, this is Dave Ramsey. Tune into my show weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
It's a new look to the Seattle Mariners. From the GM down, things have changed. One thing that hasn't changed is that we at iFIBER ONE Newsradio are still your only South Sound home for the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are brought to you in part by Desco AV, Arch Mechanical Services, the all-new Gillis Auto Center, and the Roof Doctor.
Welcome back to America in the Morning, 14 before the hour. Celebrities are jumping on the fitness fashion bandwagon. Mary Maloney brings us this growing trend.
Fans of the Beehive can now look like the Queen. Beyonce's new fashion line, Ivy Park, is for sale. It's part of the fitness meets fashion trend called athleisure. Kate Hudson, Brooke Burke, Carrie Underwood, and other celebs have also launched activewear lines. The point? Make stylish, flattering clothing that can go from the gym to the coffee shop and, in some cases, the office. The multi-purpose fashion helps widen the base of people buying these brands, meaning more money for apparel companies. The fitness fashion market has been hotter than ever. According to USA Today, last fiscal year, Nike's women's business grew 20%. That's more than twice the rate of growth on the men's side in the same time period. And it's not just Nike. According to research from the NPD Group, from June 2014 to June 2015, women's fitness apparel outpaced the overall fitness apparel business, growing 9% as compared to a little less than 7% in the entire industry. When you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar trade, those percentages add up, which perhaps means more celebs and brands wanting to cash in. I'm Mary Maloney.
It's 13 before the hour, and after winning an online poll, the name Boaty McBoatface will not grace the hull of a new British ship. On What's in a Name, here's correspondent John Stolness.
The country's Natural Environment Research Council had asked the public for help in finding a name for its newest polar research vessel, which cost about $285 million. The name was supposed to honor the ship's mission and celebrate the UK's vast naval history. However, the name Boaty McBoatface, originally submitted as a joke, caught fire and garnered more than 124,000 votes, 3 times its closest rival. The name was suggested by former BBC radio host James Hand, who has since apologized for the controversy. Britain's science minister says the new boat is likely to be christened with a different name. I'm John Stolness.
And at 12 before the hour, here's sports with Robert Workman.
I thought you were going to call me Sporty McSportface. That's my new name.
Okay.
Well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll see if it trends or anything. NBA playoffs last night. The Spurs trending up. They sliced up the Grizzlies 94-68 to go up 2-0. Once again, total domination by San Antonio. They held Memphis to under 33% shooting. The result being that the Spurs starters barely played half the game. Patty Mills led all scorers. He had 16 points off the bench in just 19 minutes for San Antonio. For the Grizz, boy, what a trip down towards the border. They lost game 1 by the largest margin in franchise history, and in game 2, they scored the fewest points by any Memphis team ever in the playoffs. Hawks scored past the Celtics 89-72. They go up 2-0 in that series. Again, the home team totally in charge. Atlanta holding Boston to 7 first-quarter points. That's the fewest points scored by any playoff team in the opening period since the NBA put in the shot clock. That was 1954. The Hawks held the Celtics at arm's length after that. Kyle Korver and Al Horford each scored 17. Both of those series switch cities and resume on Friday. Tonight it's the Hornets at the Heat, the Pistons at the Cavaliers, and the Blazers at the Clippers. Home teams lead those series 1-0. Jamal Crawford of the Clippers named NBA Sixth Man of the Year for a third time. First man to win it 3 times. First to do it with 2 different teams. He won with the Hawks in 2010 and the Clippers 2 years ago. And at age 36, he's the oldest to be so honored. Sources say the Kings have scheduled interviews with former Warriors coach Mark Jackson, the TV guy, ex-Bulls and Clippers coach Vinny Del Negro, and former Raptors and T-Wolves coach Sam Mitchell for their coaching vacancy. Jackson's also going to interview for the Minnesota job that Mitchell just used to have. Phoenix Suns have decided to keep Earl Watson. He took over as the interim coach midway through the season. Suns went 9-24 under Watson, 23-59 overall. Now we'll see what he can do with a full roster and a full season. In the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs last night, the Lightning struck the Red Wings 3-2. Andre Palat came through with the winning goal just under 3 minutes to play. Tampa Bay now up 3-1 as they head south for Game 5 tomorrow night. Penguins ripped the Rangers 3-1, coming off the mat from their Game 2 loss at home thanks to Matt Cullen, the 39-year-old veteran, scoring the winner in the third. And Matt Murray, the rookie goalie, made 16 saves. Pittsburgh regains home ice advantage with a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 tomorrow in New York. Out west, the Blues beat the Blackhawks 4-3 to move to within a game of advancing to the next round. Vladimir Tarasenko lit the lamp twice. Brian Elliott made 39 saves. And the Ducks shut out the Predators 3-0. Frederick Anderson made 27 saves, one with his coconut on a slapper from Shea Weber. He stayed in the game, no damage. And Nashville now leads the series 2-1. Visitors have won each game in that series. Tonight, the Capitals go for the sweep of the Flyers in Philadelphia, plus the Panthers are at the Islanders, Stars at the Wild, and the Kings at the Sharks. Major League Baseball, Nationals blanked the Marlins 7-0. This time a week ago, Bryce Harper had never hit a grand slam in his career. Last night, Harper hit his second this season. One of 4 Capitol Clouts in Washington's 7-run 7th inning. Another of those was Jason Worth's 200th career dinger. Meantime, Steven Strasburg struck out 10 over 8 innings, allowed just 3 hits. He's 3-0. Mets tattooed the Phillies 11-1. New York hit 6 dingers. Neil Walker had 2 of them. Blue Jays winged the Orioles 4-3. Troy Tulowitzki doubled in a pair of runs. Rays shut out the Red Sox 3-0 in 10 innings. Drew Smyly and his people held Boston to 1 hit, while Joe Kelly and the Heroes allowed just 3 hits in 9 innings. But Kevin Kiermaier led off the 10th with a home home run. Kelly, by the way, wasn't around for long. He had to leave the game in the first inning with shoulder pain. A's clipped the Yankees 3-2 in 11 innings. Jed Lowry had 4 hits, the last a double in the 11th. That set him up to score the winning run. Cubs got by the Cardinals 2-1. Jason Hamill fired 6 sharp innings and drove in both Chicago runs. Reds edged the Rockies 4-3. Brewers trimmed the Twins 6-5. White Sox whitewashed the Angels 5-0. Matt Latos lowered his ERA to 0.49. He's 3-0 this year. Diamondbacks shut out the Giants 3-0. Robbie Ray and the Montanas with a 6-hitter. Braves blasted the Dodgers 8-1. Padres slipped past the Pirates 5-4. Indians sank the Mariners 3-2. Royals tamed the Tigers 8-6. And the Rangers ripped the Astros 7-5. Safe home to Milt Pappas, 17-year veteran right-hander who was on the brink of history several times in his major league career. Came up as a teenager with the Orioles in the 50s, won at least 10 games 8 straight times, earned the 65 All-Star Game start for the American League. That winter, traded to the Reds for Frank Robinson, who led the Orioles to the World Series title. In 1972 with the Cubs, Pappas had a perfect game with 2 out in the 9th. His 3-2 pitch to Larry Stahl called a ball 4. It wasn't a ball. Pappas still got the no-hitter. He was released at the end of spring training in 74 with 209 career wins, 110 in the American League, 99 in the National League. At that point, only 3 guys had ever won 100 games in both leagues. One of them was named Cy Young. Another one should have been named Milt Pappas. So close, so long at age 76. That's Wednesday Sports. I'm Robert Workman.
That's good stuff. It's now 7 before the hour.
If I could only make you hear,
Someone who really does volunteer. Next, we're back after these messages.
At Ferguson, nobody expects more from us than we do. That goes for our celebrity spokesperson, too.
Bradshaw!
Sir! Give me the 3-point stance.
Boss, my back!
Ferguson's 3-point stance.
Oh, 1, right products. Tons of them from the best brands in the game. 2, right people. Our associates are experts in the field. 3, right around the corner. Our 1,400 locations let customers score big with short drives.
Not bad, Ricky. For plumbing, waterworks, HVAC, MRO, and more, pro contractors choose Ferguson. Catch more Terry at trainingterry.com.
The right spokesperson helps too. Bradshaw!
Welcome to Staples.
Hey, Staples guy, I'm opening a business next door.
Well, welcome to the neighborhood. You know, Staples can print custom signs and banners to help get the word out.
Great, but I gotta watch every dime.
We have low prices every day. And with Staples Price Match Guarantee, you can always get the lowest price.
Perfect.
So when's the grand opening?
Yesterday.
I had no idea.
Neither did anyone else.
Trust Staples for low prices every day. Staples. Make more happen. Price match good at checkout for items from retailers operating online in retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. See store at staples.com for details.
The one constant in this world is change. Continuing and inevitable. Things here in Mason County are about to change for the better. iFIBER Communications is now a proud service provider for Mason County PUD3. iFIBER Communications is now offering high-speed internet in Mason County. Next generation ISP services to your home and business. Next generation internet. 100 megabit per second speed to your home. Next generation television. High definition television unlike anything you've ever seen before. Next generation telephone. Never get a long distance bill again. iFIBER Communications is so much more than just an ISP. We're part of the story that is yet to be told here in Mason County. Change is here. iFIBER Communications. To find out more, stop by our offices, 3rd and Coda, or call 427-4000 or find us at iFIBER.tv.
5 before the hour. Interesting concept for a new movie is in the works. David Daniel has that in today's Hollywood Minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Prepare for MTV The Movie. James Ponsoldt, the filmmaker behind The Spectacular Now and The End of the Tour, is set to write, direct, and produce a feature based on the book I Want My MTV, the uncensored story of the music video revolution. It'll cover the founding and first decade of the cable channel, which became the voice and emblem of a new generation, influencing everything from music and videos to fashion and politics. Tyrion Lannister in wax. The latest celebrity immortalized by Madame Tussauds is 2-time Emmy winner Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones. It'll be a permanent part of Madame Tussauds' San Francisco location. Box office watchers are still rubbing their eyes in disbelief after The Jungle Book posted a $103 million opening weekend. Now, analysts say the critically acclaimed Disney adventure has a good shot at reaching $1 billion in global box office. That's not as exclusive a club as it used to be. Jungle Book would be the 25th film to get there, but most of those are sci-fi flicks and sequels, not tales of a boy in the jungle. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, you could call her the volunteer of the century. A 91-year-old Florida woman has been volunteering at a hospital system for more than 60 years. Andrew Scheinthal has her story.
Never seeing a dime.
Good afternoon.
Nearly nothing in return, at least nothing tangible.
I get paid in thanks and gratitude.
But for more than 60 years, Christy Knudsen has been donating her time and energy. From greeting guests to simple office work, she's made a career out of volunteering.
Well, I have, yes.
Moving to Southwest Florida in her late 20s, Christy just wanted to give back. She started volunteering at Lee Memorial Health System in the 50s by helping patients quench their thirst.
We went around to the patients and we asked them if they would like some juice.
She was in her 30s at the time. Now 91 years old, you can find her here at the Blood Center.
I do really much think of her as a family.
Wendy Bovard has been working with Christy for 5 years and says the work she does is irreplaceable.
One of the main things is customer service, and she's wonderful at it.
More than 4,000 volunteers with the health system work roughly 90 different positions on a daily basis, from popping popcorn to driving you to your car.
There's really nobody to compare to Christy.
Jill Palmer is the director of volunteer resources.
They don't have to be here, and there is no way to really value that service.
A service that Christy values doing.
And I felt like I was maybe helping out in the community.
Help that's gone 6 decades long and still counting.
Celebrating birthdays today, actor George Takei is 79, actor Ryan O'Neal 75, actor Joey Lawrence is 40. And that's it for America in the Morning for Wednesday, April 20th, 2016. Our producer, Tom DeLack, senior producer, Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trouts on Westwood One News.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFIBER ONE Newsradio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCord, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFIBER ONE Newsradio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
Tom Hartman is live and waiting your call. Weekdays from 9 to noon on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030, FM 103.3, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Hillary Clinton says victory is in sight after her big win in New York's primary. Bernie Sanders says he's not giving up. ABC's Cecilia Vega says he's looking ahead to next Tuesday's races.
Sanders says he is not going anywhere, but overnight, one of his advisors reportedly said that after next week's votes, the team will assess where they are. They do, though, concede that he has to win most of the states ahead, but there is no question about it. When it comes to delegates, Clinton has the mathematical advantage right now that will be nearly impossible to beat.
Donald Trump is celebrating his overwhelming New York win and saying it's time for the competition to step aside. More from ABC's Tom Yamas.
The billionaire said he was only going to celebrate for 2 hours last night at Trump Tower, then it was back to work. Today's in Indianapolis and later Maryland. Trump now calling on Cruz to step aside since it's nearly mathematically impossible for Cruz to hit that magic number of 1237 when it comes to delegates. Cruz convinced he can win this nomination at the convention on the second ballot of voting.
North Carolina is under more pressure for its bathroom access law. A federal appeals court ruled a Virginia school's rule banning a transgender student from a boys' bathroom is discriminatory. North Carolina is in that court's jurisdiction. Meanwhile, a fistfight broke out outside a Los Angeles high school that installed unisex bathrooms.
Some people don't accept it, but I think it's kind of a wrong thing for them not to, because everyone deserves to have something that they want.
The Broadway show Hamilton may have saved his place on the $10 bill. The popularity of the show is sparking renewed interest in him and prompting Treasury officials to consider putting a woman's face on another bill. It's a big win for Blake Shelton. A Los Angeles judge is greenlighting his multi-million-dollar defamation suit against In Touch magazine for its cover headline, Rehab for Blake. Shelton says his songs about drinking are part of his act. This is ABC News.
ABC Radio presents Made in America with David Muir. Brought to you by Advance Auto Parts Speedworks Rewards. No cards, no points, no nonsense. Details at advanceautoparts.com.
It's a true American classic, the Stetson hat. 150 years old this year, 400 workers on the line at the plant in Garland, Texas. They're proud to be there. Vice President Dan Brown.
We have it made right here in the USA. We're proud of that fact. And we actually sticker the boxes made in USA and the hats themselves.
This is World News Tonight's David Muir. That's Made in America.
Spring is here. Now's the time to try something new. Open your road with a brand new Can-Am Spyder. Built for the open road, more stable than a motorcycle, and more open to the life around you. For a limited time, get 0% APR financing for 60 months or up to $2,500 rebate on select 2015 models. Visit your local Can-Am Spyder dealer today. Offer ends April 30, 2016. Certain conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Police are calling the disappearance of a suburban Seattle couple a violent crime. And ABC's Michelle Franzen tells us the two brothers suspected in their murder are being called armed and dangerous.
The massive manhunt for suspects and brothers John and Tony Reed taking an urgent turn. Authorities now say Patrick Sean and Monique Patnaud were likely killed following a property dispute.
Evidence gathered at the former home of John Reed, including blood and some other evidence, leads us to believe that they both are the victims of a homicidal violence.
Snohomish County spokesperson Sherry Ireton says they found the suspect's car abandoned in Arizona Monday and now believe both may be heading to Mexico. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
People magazine has named Jennifer Aniston its world's most beautiful woman of 2016. When a 47-year-old actress saw her face on the cover, she thought, oh my God, saying it was sort of a very excited, teenagey kind of moment. She says she feels healthy, but it takes more work as she gets older, getting sleep and good nutrition. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County has two new department heads for Public Works and the newly created Community Services Department. The county commissioners unanimously appointed David Wyndham as the county's first Community Services Director. The commissioners also hired former Public Works Director Jerry Houth back to the position. He had previously worked for the county as Public Works Director more than 10 years ago. Wyndham steps into a new position created by the commissioners that puts him in the lead of two county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He will supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director will also oversee the Environmental Health and the Community Family Health Departments. The reorganization consolidates and renames the County Department of Community Development and Public Health Department. It includes 5 management positions, and the Permit Assistance Center Manager position will be filled now that a Community Services Director has been hired. Chilton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum this evening. It's an open agenda to allow an opportunity for community members to comment and ask questions regarding school district operations and programs. Your participation is encouraged. The forum is from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Bordeaux Elementary Library. It's National Parks Week, and Jeff Rabel, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager for Mason County, came on Daybreak to talk about the variety of parks that are in Mason County. MCRA is one of the biggest attractions with batting cages, several ball fields, picnicking, and play toys for the kids.
Vrabel shared some improvements that are in the works.
One of the projects that we're actually going to start this year is we're going to be renovating fields 6 and 7. I don't know if you're familiar with fields 2 and 3 have synthetic infields. This year we're going to be breaking ground on making fields 6 and 7 synthetic infields, which will reduce the rainouts and things like that. So even more play available, because you can get out on a synthetic field where you can't in a just a marginal rainy situation. Synthetic fields, you can still get out there and the kids can practice and on the edges of the season.
The county has 22 parks in total. Learn more about them in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. State shellfish managers have approved 9 days of racer clam digging on the first of 3 ocean beaches. The clam dig on ocean beaches begins today on Long Beach. See the list of dates, beaches, and low tides on our website, iFIBER1Newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak. Get clues during the Monday Morning Sports Report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner. First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 14th game against the Los Angeles Angels. Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFIBER1Newsradio.com. It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak.
Is your family doing some growing? Whether it's an expansion of your home or the addition of a new family car, Peninsula Credit Union can provide fast, friendly service with terrific rates. We offer personal lines of credit, affordable auto loans, and a variety of home loan options to get you moving. Visit our offices in Shelton, Belfair, Paulsbo, Port Orchard, and Port Townsend, or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Sheldon Soccer picked up a big road win, knocking off Mount Tahoma 1-0. The High Climbers are back in action, hosting Lincoln this Thursday. North Mason Baseball lost a tough one to North Kitsap 11-4. The Bulldogs are back in the diamond at Olympic this afternoon. Shelton Fast Pitch hosts North Thurston, and Shelton Baseball hosts Foss at 4 p.m. in Narrows League Conference play. The Seattle Mariners dropped their second game in a row, losing a close one to the Cleveland Indians 3-2. Starting pitcher Wade Miley was inconsistent for the Mariners, giving up 9 hits with 3 earned runs and 4 walks in just 3 2/3 of an inning. Kyle Seager recorded 2 hits for the Mariners with a big solo home run in the 6th inning. The Mariners are back in the diamond in Cleveland this afternoon with pregame on iFIBER One News Radio at 2 p.m. First pitch set for 3:10. For iFIBER One News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 6. I'm Carol Gardner. It's going to be cooler today. A little bit cooler, if you want to call the upper 70s cool. We'll peak out around noon, and then some cooler weather will actually start moving in, maybe even creating some thunderstorms by the early evening. And tomorrow looks to be drier and a little bit cooler with temps just near 70. Right now it's 54.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It is Wednesday, April 20th here, 6:10 in the morning. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, Jeff.
Got a great show for you today. Today is a big day in the marijuana business and culture, and we're going to focus on that in the 7 o'clock hour today as Tom Pruitt from TJ's Cannabis is going to come in, and he's the first licensed retailer of recreational cannabis in the city of Shelton. We talked with him, I think, the morning of his opening or right around the beginning of the...
Right around there.
And I believe it was about this time, right around 420 last year,
that he was opening. So we're kind of getting the year.
It's only been a year?
I think.
Wow, it seems like, I don't know, it just seems like so much longer, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does.
Huh.
Did you do any research on today?
No, I did not.
Also at 7:45 from AgroPack, Steve Fuhr is coming on the air with us. He also came on the show many years ago, I think even right after we as a state legalized cannabis.
I believe so.
So this has been a long time that we've had a relationship with Steve. So we're talking with him. And then Transit Talk at 8:15 with Christina Fremont. Those are all the things that are happening guest-wise today. Got some other headlines to share.
Yeah, the sort of around the region, the Reed brothers were formally charged with murder. We'll have a story on that later. A teen disappears while crossing the Green River. Port of Seattle CEO charged with DUI, and Bellingham is going to make those body cameras they've been having their police officers voluntarily wear mandatory. And a man sentenced for buying maple illegally cut on federal land.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Maple. Now, when I first read this headline, I'm guessing it's the actual tree.
Yes.
Okay.
It is the actual tree. Are you thinking maple syrup?
I thought that he was buying maple syrup.
How can I get some of that maple syrup?
That's what I'm wondering. Additionally, we'll reflect back on yesterday's big New York primary. Hillary wins. Whoa. I right before I turned on the TV, we had swim lessons with Kaiseroo, and then we came home. I turned on the TV right before, the whole system warmed up or whatever it does. I says, Hillary by 2. And then I look at it, and it's Hillary by 20.
Yeah, she was out there working her.
Holy
cazoles.
Trump wins all but the area he's from.
Yeah.
Get 90. We'll have that as well.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
It's that time of year again for Seattle Mariners baseball, and iFIBER One News Radio is the only station to carry the Mariners in the South Sound. Be part of the team and advertise your business on iFIBER One News Radio's coverage of the Mariners broadcast every day this season. Summertime in the Northwest means people traveling to enjoy outdoor activities and listening to the Mariners while camping, fishing, and boating. And the only place to listen to the Mariners around Puget Sound is on iFIBER One News Radio. Your business should be part of the Mariners broadcast each day to hit one of the biggest listening audiences in radio. Choose from packages that get you on every game or every inning of over 150 games this season. Call the sales team at iFIBER One News Radio today at 360-426-1030 or email us at sales@ifiberone.com and sign up to be part of the great season of Mariners baseball.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning. It's 6:15, and I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey.
Morning.
Morning. We're on Daybreak right now. You can see us live on our website at iFiberOneNewsRadio.com. Just look for the Daybreak tab and click on that.
This is supposed to be here. This is coiffed, by the way. So it's back here.
I figured it was, whatever.
It's a new style.
It's a new style. You can also find us on Facebook at 10KMAS/1030 or on Twitter at iFIBER ONE Radio. And you can hear us on 1030 KMS and FM 103.3. And every Monday, you can join us for another Mariners Monday Trivia Contest. You can listen during Sports Director Sean Wells' Sports Report. It's during the after the newscast at the top and bottom of the hour, and you can get some clues to answer our question. Between 8:15 and 8:30, you listen for the Mariners theme music. And the first person with the right answer who calls our listener line at 360-462-1041 will win tickets to the May 14th game against Los Angeles. That night is Roots Sports Kyle Seager bobblehead night. I might have to just go to that game.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah. So listen for the theme music and you can win easy peasy. We do have some updates on the Reed brothers. The Snohomish County prosecutor formally charged the Reed brothers with murder yesterday, even though searchers have yet to find the bodies of Patrick Shunn and Monique Patnaud. Here's the latest from ABC.
The massive manhunt for suspects and brothers John and Tony Reed taking an urgent turn. Authorities now say Patrick Shunn and Monique Patnaud were likely killed following a property dispute.
Evidence gathered at the former home of John Reed, including blood and some other evidence, leads us to believe that they both are the victims of a homicidal violence.
Snohomish County spokesperson Sherry Ireton says they found the suspect's car abandoned in Arizona Monday and now believe both may be heading to Mexico. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Well, we'll continue to monitor that story for sure as it's turning now international, it seems like. Port of Seattle chief executive there has been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. Seattle Times reports King County prosecutors filed charges Monday against 56-year-old Ted Fick. Police pulled Fick over about 8:30 last night, April 13th, as he was crossing the Highway 520 bridge, going near 80 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone. He was saying he went home from a retirement party at the port where he had a glass of wine. They say the BAC, the blood alcohol content, was 0.097, legal limit 0.08. It is 6:18 here now at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Bellingham Police Department will require all uniformed patrol officers to wear and use body cameras starting this summer. Bellingham Herald reports that Police Chief Cliff Cook has decided to make the devices mandatory for all officers starting in July. The decision comes after the department's first introduced body cameras in 2014. Since then, the department has run a voluntary program allowing officers to decide whether or not they want to wear the devices. Cook says the body cameras have proved to be beneficial for the department in prosecuting suspects and showing how officers act in different situations. They have 110 cameras now. More are on the way. The costs for storing video camera footage will run the city between $35,000 and $56,000 per year for 2 years. All right, so let's think about this. So that is, let's just go up and say $50,000 a year. So $100,000 for 2 years to hold over 110. I mean, there's got to be a lot of storage.
Yeah, but they don't talk about what if a public wants to look at the footage. That's been the biggest.
Right, because they have to go back and scrub stuff that is.
Yeah,
that
it takes a lot of time if you know of anybody that works in the video. I mean, it takes a long time to. I mean, it's real time.
Yeah.
You have to go through there. I mean, you can speed it up a little bit if you know what's going on, but it takes a long time to go through video. They'll have to have
It's real time.
You need an app for that.
What's the app going to do?
They show recognition. If this equals that, goes that, scrub that face.
Well,
I don't know. I'm sure in the future we will have Robotrons doing this type of work.
It all.
Yeah.
Well, how about we take a break, Carol? You can start working on that app.
I will.
We'll see if she's back with us on the other side. She may have become a gazillionaire.
I'll remember the little people.
In betwixt. Is that me? Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Honored.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
My Mason Health is getting everyone connected to their online medical record. Free online access to your medical records from anywhere in the world is now possible 24/7. Manage your medical appointments, message your providers, review your medical information, see test results, and now available online bill pay. It's so easy to access your secure online health record from your computer or smartphone. Whether you're at home, at work, or on vacation, you can get connected. Just visit masongeneral.com or ask how to join My Mason Health at your next hospital or clinic visit.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
Mornings start with Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Join Jeff and Carol weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 and FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Never know how.
Knowing you can get 20% off almost everything at Napa, I bet you'd start thinking, I could use some headlamps, shop gloves, a new ratchet set. Then you'd think, how am I going to carry all this? Simple. The Napa 5-gallon bucket. Buy one for $3.99, get 20% off almost everything you can fit in it, and $1 goes to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. 20% off the stuff you want, plus a bucket to carry it all home in. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items. Offer expires 4/30/16.
For your next gourmet meal, you don't need classical training. All you need is a preheated oven and a comfy spot on the couch. Home bake Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy thin crust. Just $11 for a large. Order online at papamurphys.com. Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 1033 presents Daybreak.
You didn't get that app done in time. You're still here.
Oh, I didn't know I only had till now.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back to see if you're here.
I need to go into the future, and then you'll blink, and you'll be like, where did we go? Don't worry about your hair, Jeff. It's a little too late.
I'm just messing with it. I always tell myself that. They always say, Jeff, if you ever invent a time machine, make sure you come back and tell myself blank.
Why would you even come back?
Well, because you want to come back and then say, hey, don't go down that road or something.
Yeah, but then you would change your course and you would never invented that time machine.
Well, I mean, that's the conundrum.
Yeah, it is a conundrum.
Big day it was a huge day for Donald Trump yesterday and for Senator Hillary Clinton. Man, New York had its primary. Republicans had 95 delegates to give. Donald Trump crushes with like 60%. He gets 90 of the delegates. Kasich gets 5. And all those 5 come from the Manhattan area where Donald Trump is from. Cruz, third place, doesn't get anything. On the other side, Hillary, by 20 points, oh my goodness, she crushed. So my dad and I were talking about this last night. He goes, okay, so what's next? And I said to him, well, I would, if I was in the Sanders campaign, start thinking about it this way. That was a pretty overwhelming victory for Hillary. And I don't think the Sanders people saw that coming. They were talking up until the day during the voting that it would be closer.
Something about unicorns and rainbows.
So I told my dad, I said, this would be a great time for him to take a step back, come by and say, listen, we made a good point. We get a good stand. We've increased the voter base. And now we're going to work together and unifying the party. Because it's kind of fractured. Both of the parties are fractured right now. That being said, I don't think he's going to do it, Senator Sanders. But that's maybe how I would look to. I said, well, maybe now maybe could be the time to think about doing this. 625, here's Your Voice, Your Vote from ABC.
Your voice, your vote. A big win for Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, who found support among first-time New York voters like Jacob Dobransky.
I voted for him because he's the businessman that will get a lot of the jobs back into this country, which is needed.
And I agree with most of his policies, basically.
For the Democrats, Hillary Clinton prevailed in the state where she served as a United States Senator, winning the votes of New Yorkers like Timothy Tapia.
We only can win this together. If I have a lot of friends that are Bernie supporters, I want them to now come on board with Hillary, and let's win this thing. Let's defeat Trump.
The big picture, says ABC political director Rick Klein.
New York did exactly what Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump needed it to do. They get resounding victories. They put them back on track to secure the nomination. But what it does not do is end these contests. Clearly, a spirited fight for the Republican nomination, the very real possibility of a brokered or a contested convention on the Republican side, and for the Democrats, an energized still Bernie Sanders continuing to soldier on.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
It's 6:26 at iFIBER One News Radio.
Some more news from around the region. Officials say a former mill owner in Winlock has been sentenced to 6 months in prison and must pay nearly $160,000 in restitution for buying wood illegally cut on National Forest Service land. The Justice Department said in a news release that Harold Claus Coopers was sentenced Tuesday to 6 months of home detention and 3 years of supervised release. Officials say Coopers admitted to purchasing multiple cuts of wood without requiring the seller to show a valid specialized forest products permit as required by law. Officials also say he sold maple for nearly $500,000 between 2012 and 2014. So he only has to pay $160,000, but he made $500,000. Two men who illegally cut the wood, James Miller and Ryan Justice, have also been sentenced for theft of public property to 6 and 15 months in prison.
He does have 6 months in prison, too.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's another man, Kevin Mullins, and he's scheduled to be sentenced in June. So sort of a little bit of an ongoing story, but interesting.
6:27 here at iFIBER One News Radio. Big weekend around these parts. Going to start off with mentioning the Traveler 5K Run Walk kicking off the 2016 spring season Hood Canal events and their inaugural Traveler 5K Run Walk. It is going to be a big time fun event. 5K is a 3.1 miles. It's a run walk, and it's within the beautiful Alderbrook Golf Course neighborhood area. You can walk around and see all those beautiful houses there. And if there are any for sale and there's any realtors listening, it'd be a great time to have an open house. Offer up some water bottles to the walkers.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
That's a great idea. See, you do think of good things.
Thanks. That's my one for the day. So that's just one of the big events. It's going to be a fun day. Dale, we talked with him yesterday. He's going to be out there emceeing that event. Also coming up at MCRA on Saturday is Mason County Youth Baseball's opening day. I'll be out there doing the public address and announcing the starting lineups for all the kids that are going to be participating in those. I've been working at St. Martin's for their baseball and softball games. So I'm ready to go. I'm all amped up for this big weekend. Additionally, it's Arts Walk this weekend, too. And I've had some good times down at Arts Walks in the past, hearing some great music.
Fun event.
The Procession of the Species Parade is tomorrow. And if you're new to the area or just have never seen the Procession of the Species, it is a uniquely Olympia event, and it is something, well, it celebrates all the species, and there's people and they dress up like their favorite animals and they'll go down.
Or plants.
That's right, they have plants.
Yeah, saw some dandelions last year. It was pretty, they were really cool looking.
It is, it's something.
Mm-hmm.
It is something. So I believe that's about 4:30 on Saturday. Yeah. But Arts Walk goes all weekend. So you can go check out the artisans there. So some fun events going on. 6:30 now. Mary Lynn Foster has the latest in local news.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. Mason County has 2 new department heads for Public Works and the newly created Community Services Department. The county commissioners unanimously appointed David Wyndham as the county's first Community Services Director. The commissioners also hired former Public Works Director Jerry Houth back to the position. He had previously worked for the county as Public Works Director more than 10 years ago. Wyndham steps into a new position created by the commissioners that puts him in the lead of 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He will supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director will also oversee the Environmental Health and the Community Family Health Departments. The reorganization consolidates and renames the County Department of Community Development and Public Health Department. It includes 5 management positions, and the Permit Assistance Center manager position will be filled now that a Community Services Director has been hired. Chilton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum this evening. It's an open agenda to allow an opportunity for community members to comment and ask questions regarding school district operations and programs. Your participation is encouraged. The forum is from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Bordeaux Elementary Library. It's National Parks Week, and Jeff Rabel, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager from Mason County, came on Daybreak to talk about the variety of parks that are in Mason County. MCRA is one of the biggest attractions, with batting cages, several ball fields, picnicking, and play toys for the kids. Rabel shared some improvements that are in the works.
One of the projects that we're actually going to start this year is we're going to be renovating fields 6 and 7. I don't know if you're familiar with fields 2 and 3 have synthetic infields. This year we're going to be breaking ground on making fields 6 and 7 synthetic infields, which will reduce the rainouts and things like that. So even more play available, because you can get out on a synthetic field where you can't in just a marginal rainy situation. Synthetic fields, you can still get out there and the kids can practice and on the edges of the season.
The county has 22 parks in total. Learn more about them in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. State shellfish managers have approved 9 days of racer clam digging on the first of 3 ocean beaches. The clam dig on ocean beaches begins today on Long Beach. See the list of dates, beaches, and low tides on our website, iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER 1 News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Spurs show off a suffocating defense. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Packer reporting on sports. Defensive prowess was the main theme on the hardwood Tuesday night. The Spurs held the Grizzlies to a franchise-low 68 points and received some solid offensive production off the bench.
Patty straight away against Farmar, fires a 3 over Farmar, and he nails it. Good day, Knight, 79-59, and the Spurs can put this one in the back pocket.
WOAI with the call. Patty Mills and the Spurs cruised to a 94-68 win and a 2-0 series lead. In Atlanta, it was over before it began.
Kyle Korver, another 3. He's got another one. Kyle Korver, and the Hawks lead 19-3.
On WCNN, the Celtics mustered just 7 points in the first quarter as the Hawks seal Game 2 to go up 2-0 in the series. On the ice,
he walks in, shoots, scores! Matt Cullen beats Henrik Lundqvist. He just lost his liquor license.
Mike Lang, Penguins Radio Network. Pittsburgh has a 2-1 series lead over the Rangers. Lightning strikes late in Detroit.
Right circle, Druid, open. Sanderson, score! Score! Palat has made it 3-2 with 2:59 left.
David Mishkin on 970 WFLA. Andres Palat's first goal of the series lifts the Lightning to the road victory. The series heads back to Tampa Bay, where the Red Wings face possible elimination. Also facing elimination are the Blackhawks, who lost at home to the Blues Tuesday night. St. Louis holds a 3-1 game advantage in that series, and the Ducks cut into the Predators series lead with a 3-0 shutout. Nashville is up 2-1. A busy night in baseball where Bryce Harper continued to rake, making the case for baseball's best player.
The 2-1 pitch. Swinging a long drive. Right center field. Way back. Stem to the wall. He leaps, and it's gone. Bryce Harper has another grand slam.
WJFK, Harper's 7th home run of the young season, not to mention his 2nd grand slam and 2 bases-loaded opportunities. Nationals 7, Marlins 0. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Sheldon Soccer picked up a big road win, knocking off Mount Tahoma 1-0. The High Climbers are back in action, hosting Lincoln this Thursday. North Mason Baseball lost a tough one to North Kitsap 11-4. The Bulldogs are back in the diamond at Olympic this afternoon. Shelton Fast Pitch hosts North Thurston, and Shelton Baseball hosts Foss at 4 p.m. in Narrows League Conference play. The Seattle Mariners dropped their second game in a row, losing a close one to the Cleveland Indians 3-2. Starting pitcher Wade Miley was inconsistent for the Mariners, giving up 9 hits with 3 earned runs and 4 walks in just 3 2/3 of an inning. Kyle Seager recorded 2 hits for the Mariners with a big solo home run in the 6th inning. The Mariners are back in the diamond in Cleveland this afternoon with pregame on iFIBER ONE News Radio at 2 p.m. First pitch set for 3:10. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Plenty of sunshine today. Good morning. Just like you hear, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Midday or so, it's going to peak out there in the maybe 78, 79 or so. Some cooler weather patterns moving in, creating some thunderstorms, perhaps, cooling down this evening for sure. A bit drier tomorrow, cooler and mostly cloudy in the morning, then sun with temps near 70. And right now we are looking at some cloudy skies. We set another record high yesterday in Seattle at 84 degrees.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
.638 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Today we have some great guests. 7:15, Tom Pruitt from TJ's Cannabis. The reason we're having these guests is it's Wednesday, 4/20. It's a
popular day in the cannabis history, culture, and there's a lot of so this 4/20 thing started, Carol, before.
So did you get some info on that?
Before the internet was around, and so there's a lot. It's a lot harder to pin down the exact moment that it was started, but it was supposedly started by 5 dudes or 5 people.
They were probably dudes.
Probably dudes in the San Rafael High School, and they were called the Waldos because they just hung on the wall. They just sat there on the wall.
That were Where's Waldo came from?
They may have been where Where's Waldo came from too. And so then these guys, I guess, would go smoke their cannabis.
Yeah, but how did the 420 come from?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, if anybody knows, let us know. So also at 7:45, we're going to have Steve Furr, and he's from AgroPack. And then at 8:15, Transit Talk with Christina Fremont. I do not think she's going to be talking about the cannabis day
I
today.
don't think so. We're going to move on from that. So we'll just focus on that during the 7 o'clock hour here this morning. 6:39, some other headlines that we'll talk about throughout the morning today. We've got more from the Reed brothers. ABC has some new information as the Reed brothers may be closer now to the Mexican border than even here to the Canadian border. A teen disappears after goes missing while crossing the Green River. Governor has signed a statewide vaping rules. There is that Bodie McBoatface controversy that I want to ask Carol about that has been going on the other side of the pond there. Judge dismisses account from the auditor case. Another story about Jay Inslee, this time moving more towards politics. and we'll talk about some other events over the weekend. It's 6:41 right now, and when we come back after Living the Country Life, we'll talk about the Reed brothers. Also, it's Distracted Driving Month, and if there is a potential end for distracted driving.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
During Countdown to Earth Day, Gateway Property Management says you can get involved every day. Ask for and buy recycled, unbleached paper products at home and work. Thank you for counting down to Earth Day with Gateway Property Management.
Our community credit union says the battle for clean air, clean water, and clean land has just begun. For the battle to be won, we all need to get involved. You can help make our world a better place to live by joining the effort to conserve our natural resources. The Countdown to Earth Day is a reminder from our community credit union.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
So next time you're waiting at a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Look for your free copy of Coffee News. Available in restaurants throughout the South Sound and Mason County.
Wood mulches hold in soil moisture, suppress weeds, and protect against temperature extremes. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. The type of mulch you choose depends on the attributes you're looking for as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
He's done 3 tours and now he's saving his dad's farm. Do you know a farmer veteran like that? We're inviting you to share their story. Successful Farming Magazine and Grasshopper Mowers are teaming up to acknowledge and thank farmer veterans for their service. This new initiative is called From Fighter to Farmer. Enter any veteran farmers you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer. Explain the veteran's military experience and farming operation, along with the involvement they have in your community. 3 veterans will receive a combination prize package of $5,000 and a vacation to Nashville. 1 lucky winner will also receive a $10,000 gift certificate to spend at Grasshopper Mowers. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 40 contiguous United States and D.C. 13 years and older. Begins February 1st, 2016 and ends April 30th, 2016. Subject to official rules at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer rules. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Sponsor, Meredith Corporation. From Fighter to Farmer is brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. Enter any veteran farmer you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer.
Every spring, I fill in the bare spots around my flower gardens with red cedar mulch. It's a little pricey, but it looks nice and smells good, too. Dan Sullivan is an extension soil scientist at Oregon State University. He says the prettier and more uniform the chips are, the more you'll pay for it. People tend to use this in areas that are highly visible. The inexpensive mulches come from arborists who clean up storm debris and grind up different kinds of wood. It might look a little rough, but Sullivan says the plants don't care. It still makes a nice mulch material. One thing you do need to consider when choosing wood mulch is how well water can infiltrate down to the soil. He says this depends on the size of the particles.
Generally, things like wood chips, arborist mulch, or bark nuggets will all have large particle size and water can go through easily. When we get into finer grind stuff, the decorative mulches from Douglas fir or hemlock or sawdust, those things can kind of mat down and actually create a water impervious barrier sometimes.
Another factor affected by wood particle size is its ability to stop the weeds.
So if you're looking for a weed control, your best mulches are large particle size and low in nutrients. And so any of your wood product mulches would be fine, either coarse chips or bark nuggets.
A mulch layer excludes sunlight, and without the light, many weeds have a tough time getting a foothold. Sullivan says that coarse woody mulch needs to be at least 3 inches deep to smother most annual weeds. Mulch won't kill perennial weeds like bindweed or Canadian thistle. What are your favorite wood mulches? Tell us at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
.45 at iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning to you. It is Daybreak here. Jeff and Carol. And morning, Carol.
Good morning.
So coming up on Monday, you can join us for another Mariners Monday Trivia Contest here on Daybreak. Listen during Sports Director Sean Wells' sports reports during the newscasts at the top and the bottom of the hour and get the clues you need to answer the question. And again, between 8:15 and 8:30, we'll play the Mariners theme music, and the first person with the right answer, calls 462-1041, will win tickets to the May 14th game against Los Angeles. Night also Root Sports Kyle Seager bobblehead night. So that's going to be a fun game, and that contest is coming up this upcoming Monday. 6:46 here now at iFIBER One, and the Snohomish County prosecutor formally charged the Breed brothers with murder Tuesday, even though searchers have yet to find the bodies of Patrick Shunn and Monique Patnaud. Here's the latest now from ABC News.
The massive manhunt for suspects and brothers John and Tony Reed taking an urgent turn. Authorities now say Patrick Shunn and Monique Patnaud were likely killed following a property dispute.
Evidence gathered at the former home of John Reed, including blood and some other evidence, leads us to believe that they both are the victims of a homicidal violence.
Snohomish County spokesperson Sherry Ireton says they found the suspect's car abandoned in Arizona Monday and now believe both may be heading to Mexico. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
6:47 here at iFIBER One News Radio. And Carol, it's Distracted Driving Month. So we're focusing on distracted driving, and it has taken on all sorts of forms. I remember hearing stories about when the radio first came on. Oh, first off, the passenger would have been a distraction for the driver. Then it would have been the radio would have been a distraction for the driver. Now we're moving on to more high-tech distractions like phones, and you're beeping constantly, and there's always this and that, the other thing, and our attention spans are very minimal. So distracted driving is a big thing, and lots of lives every year are lost to tragic accidents. Because I've seen some of these pictures. There's that one commercial. I don't even think they're airing it anymore. It was an AT&T commercial, maybe. Anyways, it's this mom driving. She's looking at her phone, and she's talking to her daughter in the car seat, in the back car seat, and she's saying, "Oh man, these people love your photo." So the comments or the likes on the social media, and then she boom right into another car. Did you ever see that commercial?
No,
it was intense. That was probably one of the most intense commercials I've seen on distracted driving.
From ABC News, Tech Trends, putting the brakes on distracted driving. Even though it's against the law in most states, there's nothing really stopping drivers from texting behind the wheel.
They know it's illegal, but they continue to do it.
But a new in-car system could give the parents of teens some peace of mind. It's designed to help drivers stay focused on the road by blocking certain activities on a driver's phone. Jesse Hogard is with Cell Control, the company behind the Drive ID system.
You're going to block text, email, Snapchat, Facebook, games, the camera, pretty much anything on that phone that you as a parent deem distracting.
The device itself attaches to the windshield and can determine where the driver is in relation to the passengers, unlocking the phone if it's in the hands of a passenger, then re-engaging when it's back in the driver's hand. And it works in conjunction with the existing Drive ID app, which has been updated to work with the new system. With Tech Trends, I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Why is it always going to be the teens that...
Allegedly, older than teens know better.
Yeah, but the kids are the ones that see, it's like we've talked about interactions with police.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the first interactions that young toddlers or kids have is like the first time a parent gets pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And how the parent reacts to that situation. Rah, 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 rah. Stupid cop. Rah, rah, rah. Then that helps form moving forward.
Well,
so when a kid sees their parent texting, it must be okay.
Well, that's true. That does apply to them. But then there's also peer pressure. sees other kids texting and they talk about texting. It's like, well, I can text when I drive, and I got to answer this important phone call because my life will be over if nobody knows
They don't
that I'm
answer
here.
phone calls anymore.
Or text, whatever.
They do their Snapchats.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means.
Whatever, but their life will be over unless they, get that information out there immediately. It's education.
It is.
Hopefully soon we'll have driverless cars. We won't even have to worry about that anymore.
The future is meow, Carol. They have got these cars all over the roads nowadays, and it's moving very, very quickly.
In other regional news, authorities say a teenage boy disappeared while attempting to swim across the Green River near Auburn. The Valley Regional Fire Authority says the boy's friends reported him missing around 8 o'clock last night, and the 17-year-old had crossed the river with friends and began to struggle on the way back. King County Sheriff's Office spokesperson said his friends saw him float downstream and slip under the water. Responders from multiple agencies were searching in the water last night, and they said crews would resume the search this morning and that others will continue to search the riverbanks. No other details are available.
Always cold in these waters as it's been really hot outside, but the waters are still glacier-fed rivers, and they are very, very cold still. Washington Governor Jay Inslee signed a bill that implements statewide regs on the sale of use of vapor products such as e-cigarettes and liquid nicotine. It was Senate Bill 6328 signed into law yesterday. Create a set of policies for businesses selling the smoking alternatives, such as requiring them to purchase licenses through the Liquor and Cannabis Board and to display signs reminding customers that buying the product is illegal for people under the age of 18. There are very few rules governing the sale of vapor products in the state, among other new rules contained in the bill. Vaping products now need labels warning users of their health effects, and liquid nicotine containers will need child-proof packaging. There's a story in the Olympian earlier in this week just about this. And they have marijuana vape oils that you can put into this thing. And it's very hard to tell that anybody is e-cigging marijuana or cannabis because there's no after smell.
Right.
So people are walking around. I've talked about this. I've seen people vaping in the mall when I'm out mall walking. And come on. I have a friend who there's people at her work for the state, not now, but they used to vape at their desk.
So allegedly it was e-cigarettes.
Well, you would hope that it's e-cigarettes, but
you can't even smoke at work, though. I mean, in public spaces. So that's interesting.
I understand that. It is very interesting how that all works. It's 6:53 right now, and ABC News is coming up at 7 o'clock.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News. He's won the New York primary. Donald Trump will once again be encouraging Ted Cruz to drop out today. That means more on what New York's primary means for all the presidential contenders coming up.
Old Farmer's Almanac, CNBC Business Radio Report still on the way here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Is a clean-shaven face healthier than a bearded one? We'll share some surprising whisker news today on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Wednesday, April 20th. It is the 111th day of the year, and actor Ryan O'Neal has a birthday. Which is healthier, a clean-shaven or a bearded face? Until now, the science has been a little fuzzy. But the first controlled study is showing bearded chins harbor fewer bacteria than smooth ones. It's thought that microabrasions caused by shaving are more hospitable to certain forms of bacteria. And here's another intriguing tidbit from the study. A sample from one bearded subject contained a microbe that destroyed other bacteria, including a form of E. coli. Further study is needed, of course. But if moldy bread gave us penicillin, who knows what could be buried in someone's whiskers? That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more and sign up for our free newsletter at almanac.com.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, 6:55 here on a Wednesday morning. It's 4:20. Ow! Big day in cannabis culture. We'll talk with the first retailer in the city of Shelton scheduled to come in here in about 20 minutes or so. Federal judge has dismissed one of the 16 charges against Washington State Auditor Troy Kelly. District Judge Ronald Lighton made the decision yesterday after testimony in the 5-week fraud trial came to a close. The dismissed count alleged that Kelly lied under oath about in a deposition in a civil lawsuit. The judge said he did not believe a jury could find Kelly guilty of that charge based on the evidence in the case, and therefore the jury shouldn't consider it. Closing arguments are set for Wednesday. The remaining charges include possession of stolen property, money laundering, tax evasion allegations, as well as other false statements. The defense says the case boils down to a contract dispute rather than a criminal matter.
And a new poll says Washington Governor Jay Inslee has more statewide support than leading Republican challenger Bill Bryant in the gubernatorial election race. A survey of over 500 registered voters taken between April 14th and 17th, released on Tuesday by independent pollster Stuart Elway, found 48% preferred Inslee, while 36% supported Bryant. Another 16% were undecided. The poll had a margin sampling error of plus or minus about 4.5%. And in January, a similar poll said Inslee led by 9 percentage points, while 31% were undecided. State Superintendent Randy Dorn has flirted with running for governor, but not officially announced his candidacy. And including him in the most recent survey, 41% of voters asked would choose Inslee, 26% Bryant, and 25% undecided, and 7% would vote for Dorn. The general elections coming up November 8th.
So that is 6-7 months away, 8 months away, something like that. I'm surprised that more Republicans have not
jumped in for the
governor's race yet.
Yeah, well, it seems like
you
there
talked
isn't
with
that
Bill
many.
Bryan, right?
Yeah, he was on the morning show one day when you were gone with Del and I.
You got a good impression from the guy? I mean, it's going to be an interesting race.
It should be an interesting race. Yeah.
Both different? I mean, you can tell differences between the two? Were you able to?
Not that early, I don't think. I mean, not major differences. I didn't.
Didn't get that deep into it?
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
CNBC Radio. The Dow is up 8 points, and Nasdaq is down 2. Investors are reacting to the latest corporate news. Lexmark is up 10% after announcing it's selling its printer business to China's Apex Technology for $3.5 billion. But Intel is down 2% after saying it's cutting 12,000 jobs. Profits are falling because computer sales are at a 10-year low. Stocks are also being hurt by weak earnings for banks. U.S. Bancorp's quarterly profit fell 3%. And stocks are taking a hit from a 15% slide in shares of Mitsubishi. It says it found evidence its employees falsified fuel mileage test data for several models of vehicles. Several hundred economists tell a new poll that now is the time for fiscal expansion. Otherwise, they warn economic growth and inflation across the globe will lose further momentum this year, despite years of ultra-easy monetary policy. John Lesher, CNBC Radio.
Knowing you can get 20% off almost everything at Napa, I bet you'd start thinking, I could use some headlamps, shop gloves, a new ratchet set. Then you'd think, how am I going to carry all this? Simple. The Napa 5-gallon bucket. Buy one for $3.99, get 20% off almost everything you can fit in it, and $1 goes to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. 20% off the stuff you want, plus a bucket to carry it all home in. That's Napa know-how. Participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items. Offer expires 4/30/16.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. My yard needs a ton of help. The best looking part is the garden gnome.
I told Linda she came to the right place. We have exactly what her yard needs.
Ace is the place where lawn advice is always free. And speaking of free,
right now during our BOGO sale, when she buys one select item, she'll get another designated item free. Like buy Scott's Weed and Feed and get Scott's Lawn Food free. BOGO offer valid on select items through April 25th. See participating stores for details and limits. Store stock only. Scott's bag covers 5,000 square feet.
Mornings start with Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio. Join Jeff and Carol weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 and FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase.
Bernie Sanders says he's not quitting after yesterday's loss to Hillary Clinton in the New York primary, but advisors say they'll reassess things after next week's races in several northeastern states. ABC's Cecilia Vega has a look ahead.
Bernie Sanders is trying to move past the bruising loss overnight. He headed to the next big state on the voting map, Pennsylvania, and then went home to Vermont to take the day off and recharge. He is still vowing to stay in this race, but after the upset here in New York, it could be nearly impossible for him to catch up with Clinton's delegate lead.
Hillary Clinton called her New York win personal and said victory is in sight. Donald Trump says his win is a clear signal to Ted Cruz to drop out. Michigan's Attorney General is expected to announce charges today against 3 people in connection with the Flint water crisis. More from ABC's Ryan Burrow.
Sources say felony charges will be filed against 2 state officials and 1 with the city of Flint for changing records to cover up positive lead test results. Michigan's Governor Rick Snyder is not expected to be charged. The governor's spokesman Ari Adler saying they don't know what the Attorney General will announce.
We only know that he is holding a press conference and has a major announcement is what he has said.
Meanwhile, a federal judge has thrown out a $150 million class action lawsuit over payment of water bills. The judge suggesting the plaintiffs refile the case in state court. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
A federal appeals court ruling on transgender bathroom access in public schools in Virginia is threatening a key provision of North Carolina's bathroom bill. The court called banning a transgender student from a boys' bathroom discriminatory. Tennessee lawmakers vote today on whether to override Governor Bill Haslam's veto of a bill that would make the Bible the state's official book. Haslam vetoed it, saying it's unconstitutional and trivializes a sacred text. The next long line you see at the airport may not be for a flight. It might be for JetNav energy pods. The space-age reclining chairs lull you into slumber with music and a retractable dome and gently wake you up 10 minutes later with vibrations, light, and music. Experts say it can help jet-lagged passengers recharge. This is ABC News.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork? Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes. That is fast, like rocket fast. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
These days, we barely give lunch the time of day. We bag it, rush it, skip it, and leave it to fend for itself in the fridge. What used to be a break is but a blip on the radar. Well, it's time to take lunch back. At TGI Fridays, get one of our new fast, fresh pairings, like a strawberry field salad with chicken and a bowl of turkey kale soup for just $6.99. And with quick mobile pay, settle up whenever you want, which means you'll have time for a refreshing triple berry smoothie. Make lunch count, only at TGI Fridays. At participating restaurants, available Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
President Obama arrived in Riyadh just as proposed legislation in the U.S. to allow terror victims to sue foreign nations over terrorist incidents ramped up. ABC's Molly Hunter is traveling with the president.
His farewell visit to the kingdom as president. It comes as the relationship between the two longtime allies is strained. There is renewed conversation back in the States about the role Saudi Arabia played in the 9/11 attacks. A bill in Congress would allow victims of 9/11 to sue Saudi Arabia. In response, Saudi Arabia has said they would liquidate hundreds of billions of dollars in U.S. assets. But while the president has spoken out against the bill, it will certainly be a topic of discussion. Molly Hunter, ABC News, Riyadh.
Interest in the O.J. Simpson trial was recently rekindled by a TV series recreating it. It's also sparked renewed interest in his 2 children. Many are wondering whatever happened to Sydney and Justin. Paparazzi tracked them down, now adults. They live in St. Petersburg, Florida, and both are involved in real estate. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County has 2 new department heads for Public Works and the newly created Community Services Department. The county commissioners unanimously appointed David Wyndham as the county's first Community Services Director. The commissioners also hired former Public Works Director Jerry Houth back to the position. He had previously worked for the county as Public Works Director more than 10 years ago. Wyndham steps into a new position created by the commissioners that puts him in the lead of 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He will supervise community development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director will also oversee the Environmental Health and the Community Family Health Departments. The reorganization consolidates and renames the County Department of Community Development and Public Health Department. It includes 5 management positions, and the Permit Assistant Center Manager position will be filled now that a Community Services Director has been hired. Chilton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum this evening. It's an open agenda to allow an opportunity for community members to comment and ask questions regarding school district operations and programs. Your participation is encouraged. The forum is from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Bordeaux Elementary Library. It's National Parks Week, and Jeff Rabel, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager from Mason County, came on Daybreak to talk about the variety of parks that are in Mason County. MCRA is one of the biggest attractions, with batting cages, several ball fields, picnicking, and play toys for the kids. Rabel shared some improvements that are in the works.
One of the projects that we're actually going to start this year is we're going to be renovating fields 6 and 7. I don't know if you're familiar with fields 2 and 3 have synthetic infields. This year we're going to be breaking ground on making fields 6 and 7 synthetic infields, which will reduce the rainouts and things like that. So even more play available, because you can get out on a synthetic field where you can't in just a marginal rainy situation. Synthetic fields, you can still get out there and the kids can practice and on the edges of the season.
The county has 22 parks in total. Learn more about them in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. State shellfish managers have approved 9 days of razor clam digging on the first of 3 ocean beaches. The clam dig on ocean beaches begins today on Long Beach. See the list of dates, beaches, and low tides on our website, iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
iFIBER One News Radio wants to take this time to thank the sponsors of Mariners Baseball who help bring the games to you on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. You can show your appreciation by supporting our local advertisers who bring you Mariners Baseball in the South Sound. When you support our local sponsors, you are supporting our local communities. More Mariner Baseball is on the way from iFIBER One News Radio.
This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet. We're going to save you money. Montesano has one of the lowest sales tax rates in the state, plus our costs are way less than other dealers. And right now, we're offering up to 90 days of no payments on any new or used vehicles with proof of your tax refund. They all come with lifetime oil changes to boot. Stop by and visit WhitneyChev.com to check out our inventory.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Worth the drive to Whitney's, just down the road to Whitney.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Sheldon Soccer picked up a big road win, knocking off Mount Tahoma 1-0. The High Climbers are back in action, hosting Lincoln this Thursday. North Mason Baseball lost a tough one to North Kitsap 11-4. The Bulldogs are back in the diamond at Olympic this afternoon. Shelton Fast Pitch hosts North Thurston, and Shelton Baseball hosts Foss at 4 p.m. in Narrows League Conference play. The Seattle Mariners dropped their second game in a row, losing a close one to the Cleveland Indians 3-2. Starting pitcher Wade Miley was inconsistent for the Mariners, giving up 9 hits with 3 earned runs and 4 walks in just 3 2/3 of an inning. Kyle Seager recorded 2 hits for the Mariners with a big solo home run in the 6th inning. The Mariners are back on the diamond in Cleveland this afternoon with pregame on iFIBER One News Radio at 2 p.m. First pitch set for 3:10. For iFIBER One News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 7, and I'm Carol Gardner. Lots of sunshine today with highs in the mid to upper 70s. We're going to peak out around midday, and then some cooler weather patterns are moving in that could create some thunderstorms, and the weather will cool down by early evening. Tomorrow looks to be drier but cooler with mostly cloudy morning, and then sun with temps near 70. Yesterday, we did set another record high, choosing SeaTac 84 degrees, beating the old record high by 10 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah. Right now, it's 54.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. 7:10, iFIBER ONE News Radio. Jeff and Carol here on Daybreak. And good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
Great day today. It's a Wednesday. It's going to be another nice day. We've got some wonderful guests coming up as we talk about the culture of cannabis around these parts. We're going to be talking about that. It's April 20th. It's known as a day. 420 is the day, and known as a big day in the cannabis history. I'm getting closer to finding out as best I can the official reason for the numbers and the naming and all that stuff. So I'll share that with us all in just a little bit. Other headlines that we're talking about and things going on around. More information about the Reed brothers. The thoughts are now that they are perhaps nearing the Mexican border. They've formally been charged with murder. A teen disappeared after crossing the Green River. Also, Earth Day is coming up on Friday.
April 22nd.
Okay, so it is Friday. Yeah, and we will be talking about living waste-free on a news feature from ABC. Carol's going to run down the allergy and pollen counts for the day, and I'll talk about some drills that are impacting Thurston County, some lockdown drills. Additionally, the developer is canceling plans up in Tacoma for that methanol plant that we had been hearing about, and a guy gets arrested for cutting down and selling maple trees without permits. This weekend, some big events. The Hood Canal Events Traveler 5K is this Saturday around the Alderbrook Golf Course neighborhood. Dale's going to be the MC there. Mason County Youth Baseball Opening Day Saturday at MCRA. I'll be the PA announcer for all the kids up there for that. Arts Walk, Procession of the Species is coming this weekend. And we encourage you to head to the all-new iFiber1newsradio.com, and under the Recreation tab, you'll see some more information on volunteers who want to clean up the coast and the free day to all state parks on Friday. We've been focusing on National Parks Week here on Daybreak. Monday, we had Mark Ziegler in from the city of Shelton to talk about the parks in Shelton. Yesterday, Jeff Vrabel came on to talk about all the county parks, and I really...
amazing to find out how many parks there are in the city and in the county.
And the nice weather, and then hearing about all these parks really got me wanting to get out and adventure. So it's 7:13 right now. I'll take a quick break and be right back.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
Hi guys, Kat here with iFiber One News Radio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all the while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFiber One News Radio and the customer decides, hey, I'm right by there. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers can either drive to you or through you. And here at iFiber One News Radio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South Sound region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniker that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here, iFIBER One News Radio. Jeff and Carol, 7:15 on Wednesday, April 20th, 420. And it's a big day in the culture of cannabis and marijuana. We are excited to talk with Tom from TJ's Cannabis, the first retailer in the city of Shelton got the license, found what was basically the only spot in the whole city where you could, based on the different qualifications, the only real place in town that you could put a place up. And so we're talking about how it's been. It's been about a year since you guys have been open. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you guys. Happy to be here. It's been pushing a year. Cinco de Mayo will be our anniversary.
1 year anniversary. Okay, so that's coming up in May. How's it been this year? What's kind of been the reception, the feedback that you've been getting?
It's been pretty much positive. You know, it took time for people to realize we were there.
Sure.
And then it took people time to realize we weren't medical, we were recreational. And, you know, things have been pretty steady and settled down since. No real complaints from anybody in the community. So all positive feedback that we've gotten.
That is good. I think there was a lot of concern. You know, this is all uncharted territory. And you getting out there, stepping out and being the first ones to open in the town is, how would you consider business? Brisk? Every day you got people coming in, or?
You know, I just call it consistent. We've got a pretty good base of customers, you know, all great people, all walks of life, all age groups. You know, there's definitely, we can see times when the people are coming in now that it's nice. People are coming down to their vacation homes. So we're seeing some more tourism traffic from that.
Oh, okay.
There was definitely a you know, decrease after summer just from everyone coming through the area.
Sure.
How's it been working with the city throughout the year?
You know, the city, once we were completed and inspected, we've really had very little contact with. You know, they were very helpful through the process last year to get to where we are. And, you know, we're all about following any rules and regulations there are. You know, even if it's as simple as, yes, we can have a sandwich board sign out, but it's supposed to be put away at night. Well, we put it away at night. You know, just little rules and, you know, staying positive in the community. And, you know, we're all just about great service and being part of this great community. We're local owners. We have local staff. You know, we're the local store.
How many employees do you have now?
We currently have 8 employees.
Wow. That's great.
Not including myself.
Sure. That's really good.
Yeah.
Do you think being open and having the storefront there, and it's on a main drive, thousands of cars probably drive by there every day, has it helped to change the culture, or not the culture, but change the impressions of marijuana users or cannabis users? Do you think they have this there and if you see people from all walks of life there?
You know, we do, and you can see a little bit of change in the culture, and I think it's still changing, obviously. You know, there'd be times where someone would walk in and you're looking around and, you know, where did they come from? And they walk back out, well, they parked up the block, or, you know, whatever, because some people, you know, depend on your jobs or whatever else, you know, the visibility of it, there's still a stigmatism to it, but it's fading. It's fading. And we get people not only coming in, you know, to purchase, we get people coming in to just see it, check it out, And you know, we're more than happy to talk with anybody. You know, just because you come in doesn't mean you have to buy something. If people are just curious and want to come by and say hi, meet the staff, you know, just come by and talk for a while. So that's great too.
So with the new laws changing with the medical marijuana, did you guys get an endorsement to be a medical marijuana provider?
Yes, we have filed our paperwork to be endorsed. So that'll be coming around in July. You know, we're not fully aware of every regulation that goes with that, but basically, once this goes into effect, if you become medically licensed, right, as a patient, and then you are going to be on the, I think they call it like a voluntary registry. But once you get onto this and you come in and show us your documentation, then you will not need to pay the marijuana excise tax. So basically, you're going to be coming in, and everything we have, you're going to be paying, I think, what is it, 36% less on everything.
Wow.
So that'll be great for the medical patients, and I think they're going to find that they'll actually be getting product for less money than they were paying in medical stores.
How's your interactions in banking? How's that coming along? Still tough?
You know, right from the beginning, we had a bank over with OB.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we had that before we opened. We applied. It's been just like me going to a bank of anywhere else.
Okay.
I mean, it really has been no problems.
I have some friends of mine who are part of, you know, they're part of the OB family, I guess, and they went to some recent meeting that they all had, and they were talking about the people that are open to the cannabis and they bring the money in, and they're one of the few in the state, and they're helping out a lot of these retailers like yourself.
Sure. I mean, it'd be very scary to think of, because we're not only collecting money for the product we purchased and then reselling, you know, at just like most places would be. However, we're also collecting all of this tax revenue. So, you know, the cash burden would be way too great to not have any banks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how someone would function without banking. It would be very, very difficult.
Where do you find your suppliers? Do you try to get the local people around Mason County if they're available to give you the product, or how do you go about that?
We concentrate very heavily in Shelton and Mason County. You know, we are a small store. We're not, you know, where there's Olympia, Seattle, where there's people that own multiple stores. You know, it's the wife and I, we own this store only. So we don't have all this buying power. So what we try to do is work with local growers and processors. And we're like, listen, we want to carry your product, but we need you to give us, you know, please try to give us the same price you give these bigger people.
Sure.
But at a smaller amount, but we're close. So you don't have to be driving far to bring it to us. Things like that. You know, and we're just really trying to focus on everything local. Whether, like I said, our staff, you know, my wife was born and raised here. I didn't move into the area until the 90s after I graduated high school. So, you know, but I grew up here during the summers, and just, I don't know, I love this area.
Yeah. Well, we're really encouraged that you've been able to come through almost a year anniversary coming up on May 5th. And it's a big day today. I'm anticipating probably some brisk traffic moving in and out of the business. You got sales going on and all that?
A lot of crazy sales going on today. I mean, if ever you were going to dip your toe,
sure,
today might be that day to come by.
So let me ask you this question. There's also been a lot of talk about the strength of the THC percentages and how it used to be back in the 60s. I don't know what it was, 3%, I think I heard. And there are some strains that are upwards of 20%, 25%. Is that something that's been a concern to anybody that's come in?
You know, where we're at and what we're doing, people come in and typically a lot of them are going to ask, you know, give me your strongest, what's your highest THC in the case? Those seem to sell at the door, because we will get those, you know, active THC will be maybe 25, 26, 27%, or higher sometimes. It is insane how much that's grown. And, you know, there's also some argument within the own community about that testing, you know, depending on what lab you go to, you know, so these processors and growers are going to send in their samples to labs. So I'm not super familiar with the area, but I do hear conversations about, well, they sent it to, you know, this lab, or, you know, and they got this higher percentage. How'd they get that? and I don't know enough about it, but I know it doesn't depend on plant genetics, how they're raising them, all of that comes into play. So these growers and processors that seem to be able to get consistent higher numbers really, really do well.
TJ's Cannabis is up on, what's that, State Route 3, I guess?
Yes, we're right there on Olympic Highway.
On Olympic Highway, and you can head down there. The hours are 9 to 8, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 9, Friday, Saturday, and on Sunday as well. So open 7 days a week. So you can check them out. Also, tjscannabis.com. Thanks for coming in, and congratulations on your year anniversary that's coming up, and really excited to have you in the area again and talk more about this as it's moved forward.
Pleasure to be in, as always. Anytime, you guys. Thanks a lot.
That's great, for sure. 724 iFiber One News Radio. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, some news headlines to pass along for you this morning, as well as ABC News, and Mary Lynn Foster's coming up in just a couple of moments.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
Top shelf, the good stuff. It's harder to reach for a reason. You don't get it for just anybody, but your baby isn't just anybody. So this month, Napa is making the good stuff a little easier to get with Castrol Edge Full Synthetic Motor Oil for just $5.79 a quart. So go ahead, treat her right, and get Castrol Edge for $5.79 a quart. She'll thank you later. That's Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 4/30/16.
Is your business targeting the state's largest payroll? Military personnel at JBLM and Naval Base Kitsap surpass all others, and Swarner Communications gives your businesses direct reach into those markets with newspaper advertising, face-to-face events, email blasts, mobile marketing, reputation management, and more, all for one affordable price. Call Swarner Communications today, 253-584-1212.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFiber One News Radio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFiber One News Radio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCord, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFiber One News Radio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
728 iFiber One News Radio, Daybreak. Jeff and Carol, we got the news coming up in just a couple of moments. Can you believe that we can have segments on the radio talking about marijuana, cannabis, stuff like that? I mean, people have radio stations and like crazy disc jockeys have alluded to it, but to talk about the financial positive benefits here in the city and around the state, it's really crazy.
It is sort of crazy.
So July 1, and I know you've kind of been following this a lot closer than I have, the switch from retail to the medical, and the medical folks need to have the licenses and things like that we were talking about here. And that's July 1st.
I believe it is July 1st.
Very cool. So coming up next segment at 7:45, we referenced some of the producers and growers in that last interview, which will be available on the Daybreak page after the show gets over. But we'll talk to one of them. Steve Fuhrer from AgroPack will be in, and we're going to talk with him about his sides and his ups and downs over the years that we've known him. Was one of the first names that came into the community after the legalization was passed couple years back. So that's what's coming up at 7:45. Other stories to talk about for you when we have time to get them through. The allergies are rough, and so Carol's got some pollen and allergy information. Also, Earth Day's on Friday, so we're going to talk about and try to learn how to live waste-free. Whoa, wouldn't that be something? The developer up in Tacoma, if you remember yesterday and the day before, we were talking about the Mayor Strickland of Tacoma went to China, and some folks were making allegations that she was out there to try to woo a methanol plant to come. Well, the methanol plant, they've pulled out. They decided they've canceled the plans on that. All those
coincidence?
Maybe, Carol. Maybe coincidence. We'll be right back after this. News time with Maryland.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County has 2 new department heads for Public Works and the newly created Community Services Department. The county commissioners unanimously appointed David Wyndham as the county's first Community Services Director. The commissioners also hired former Public Works Director Jerry Houth back to the position. He had previously worked for the county as Public Works Director more than 10 years ago. Wyndham steps into a new position created by the commissioners that puts him in the lead of 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He will supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director will also oversee the Environmental Health and the Community Family Health Departments. The reorganization consolidates and renames the County Department of Community Development and Public Health Department. It includes 5 management positions, and the Permit Assistance Center Manager position will be filled now that a Community Services Director has been hired. Chilton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum this evening. It's an open agenda to allow an opportunity for community members to comment and ask questions regarding school district operations and programs. Your participation is encouraged. The forum is from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Bordeaux Elementary Library. It's National Parks Week, and Jeff Rabel, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager for Mason County, came on Daybreak to talk about the variety of parks that are in Mason County. MCRA is one of the biggest attractions, with batting cages, several ball fields, picnicking, and play toys for the kids. Rabel shared some improvements that are in the works.
One of the projects that we're actually going to start this year is we're going to be renovating fields 6 and 7. I don't know if you're familiar with fields 2 and 3 have synthetic infields. This year, we're going to be breaking ground on making fields 6 and 7 synthetic infields, which will reduce the rainouts and things like that. So even more play available, because you can get out on a synthetic field where you can't in just a marginal rainy situation. Synthetic fields, you can still get out there and the kids can practice and on the edges of the season.
The county has 22 parks in total. Learn more about them in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. State shellfish managers have approved 9 days of razor clam digging on the first of 3 ocean beaches. The clam dig on ocean beaches begins today on Long Beach. See the list of dates, beaches, and low tides on our website, iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
We have some extreme temperatures in our part of the country. I want to tell you about a local company, Arch Mechanical. ARCH, Arch. It's an acronym for Affordable Refrigeration, Cooling, and Heating. But that's not what's important. What's important is how Tom, the problem solver, is able to help solve your heating, cooling, and refrigeration equipment or system problems. Check out archmechanical.com and find out more. archmechanical.com.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak. Get clues during the Monday Morning Sports Report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner. First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 14th game against the Los Angeles Angels. Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFIBER1newsradio.com. It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak.
Spurs show off a suffocating defense. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Packer reporting on sports. Defensive prowess was the main theme on the hardwood Tuesday night. The Spurs held the Grizzlies to a franchise-low 68 points and received some solid offensive production off the bench.
Patty straight away against Farmar, fires a three over Farmar, and he nails it. Good day, night 79-59, and the Spurs can put this one in the back pocket.
WOAI with the call. Patty Mills and the Spurs cruised to a 94-68 win and a 2-0 series lead. In Atlanta, it was over before it began.
Kyle Korver, another three. He's got another one. Kyle Korver, and the Hawks lead 19-3.
On WCNN, the Celtics mustered just 7 points in the first quarter as the Hawks seal Game 2 to go up 2-0 in the series. On the ice,
He walks in, shoots, scores! Matt Cullen beats Henrik Lundqvist. He just lost his liquor license.
Mike Lang, Penguins Radio Network. Pittsburgh has a 2-1 series lead over the Rangers. Lightning strikes late in Detroit.
Right circle Druid, open. Sanderson, score! Score! Palat! Palat has made it 3-2 with 2:59 left.
David Mishkin on 970 WFLA. Andres Palat's first goal of the series lifts the Lightning to the road victory. The series heads back to Tampa Bay, where the Red Wings face possible elimination. Also facing elimination are the Blackhawks, who lost at home to the Blues Tuesday night. St. Louis holds a 3-1 game advantage in that series. And the Ducks cut into the Predators series lead with a 3-0 shutout. Nashville is up 2-1. A busy night in baseball where Bryce Harper continued to rake, making the case for baseball's best player.
The 2-1 pitch. Swinging a long drive. Right center field. Way back. Stem to the wall. He leaps, and it's gone. Bryce Harper has another grand slam.
WJFK, Harper's 7th home run of the young season, not to mention his 2nd grand slam and 2 bases-loaded opportunities. National 7, Marlins 0. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Sheldon Soccer picked up a big road win, knocking off Mount Tahoma 1-0. The Climbers are back in action, hosting Lincoln this Thursday. North Mason baseball lost a tough one to North Kitsap 11-4. The Bulldogs are back in the diamond at Olympic this afternoon. Shelton Fast Pitch hosts North Thurston, and Shelton baseball hosts Foss at 4 p.m. in Narrows League Conference play. The Seattle Mariners dropped their 2nd game in a row, losing a close one to the Cleveland Indians 3-2. Starting pitcher Wade Miley was inconsistent for the Mariners, giving up 9 hits with 3 earned runs and 4 walks in just 3 2/3 of an inning. Kyle Seager recorded 2 hits for the Mariners with a big solo home run in the 6th inning. The Mariners are back in the diamond in Cleveland this afternoon with pregame on iFIBER One News Radio at 2 p.m. First pitch set for 3:10. For iFIBER One News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 7:37. I'm Carol Gardner, and lots of sunshine this morning with highs in the mid to upper 70s. We're going to peak out around midday, and then some cooler weather patterns are moving in. That could create some thunderstorms, and the weather will cool down by early evening. Tomorrow looks to be drier, but cooler with mostly cloudy morning, and then sun with temps near 70, and right now it's 54.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning. It's 7:38. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey on Daybreak. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning.
You can hear us on 1030 KMS 103.3 FM, or you can see us on our website at iFIBER1newsradio.com, and you just click on the Daybreak tab, and there we are.
The live video just pops up like that, huh?
Well, you have to click on the video and then it will play. We don't have it
2 clicks.
automatically playing.
Oh,
I don't know if you
hate
like.
it when I go to websites. Let me stop you down here for a second. You go to a website and something just pops up. And now they make these pop-ups where it is so hard to find the X. And I feel like if I'm gonna click something other than the X, like 1 pixel over, then I'm gonna be either signed up for some sort of something, or now my identity's been compromised, or something like that.
Yeah, it's sort of as
there are some complicated
advertising out there, or scammers out there, and also.
Scary.
If you're going to automatically play, then the sound should definitely be off.
Oh, it's got to be off.
Because it's like you're searching around for the sound on
What if you're at the
website.
library looking up something, and you go to a web page? Maybe you should be there, maybe you shouldn't be there. That's not for me to judge. But a video pops up, and there's sound playing. Yeah, I don't think that you want the rest of the people to hear what you're listening to.
It's just annoying for everybody all around.
All right, 7:40 at iFIBER One News Radio. Steve Feuer's coming up in just a couple of moments from AgroPack as we continue our conversations this hour on the cannabis industry here in Mason County. And looking at some other stories here, I found an article on the amount of overdoses from marijuana in 2015 and compared to those of other prescription drugs, heroin, cocaine, things like that, painkillers, Valium, and the number of overdose for marijuana blow your mind at goose egg, 0. Yeah. So that's one of the other stories I'm looking at. And then I'm getting closer. More and more articles on the internet feel like they come from a group of guys who went to go search for a mythical plant crop, and they met at 420.
Oh,
think about it this way.
4:20 p.m.
Think about it this way. You get off school, you're in high school, you get out of school at 3:20. All these dudes are all friends, and they're like, hey, man, let's go search for this thing. And they say, well, I got some stuff to do after school, but let's meet in an hour at 4:20.
Huh, that could be
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Now, is there a police code 420?
There is, but it is if you look it up on Snopes, it's blocking entrance to federal lands or something. It does not have to do with that.
And well, maybe they were looking on federal lands.
I will say it's going to be kind of stinky around Evergreen this afternoon.
Oh, that's such a stereotype.
That big hill there. Stereotype. It's not a stereotype if it's true, is it?
I don't know. I don't even know what big hill you're talking about.
Well, obviously you've never been to Super Saturday. If you remember Super Saturday at Evergreen.
Yeah, with my mom, we were at Super Saturday. But I don't have any idea.
On iFIBER One News Radio.
PUD3 says all of us can pick up litter. All of us can leave the land better than we found it. During Countdown to Earth Day, let's all dedicate ourselves to making this a better world. This reminder brought to you by PUD3.
It's not too late to help clean up the environment. Castle and Coleman Logging says it's simple. Join or help organize a cleanup or restoration project in your neighborhood, school, youth group, church, or workplace. This Countdown to Earth Day tip is brought to you by Castle and Coleman Logging.
The ocean waves roll in, hypnotic, continuous, and perched high above rests the oldest family-owned resort on Washington's coast, Ocean Crest Resort. Picturesque, friendly, comfortable. Ocean Crest has served as the perfect ocean hideaway for over 60 years. With unsurpassed ocean views, warm fireplaces, full kitchen, swimming pool, hot tub, and spa, Ocean Crest Resort offers you total and unrivaled relaxation. Frommer's Guide reports you simply won't find a more spectacular setting anywhere on the Washington coast. And Ocean Crest's enchanting restaurant is listed as one of Washington's 13 ultimate restaurants you must visit before you die. See for yourself with our special 3-for-2 package. For a limited time, stay 2 nights and get a 3rd night free. Call 800-684-8439, 800-684-8439, or visit oceancrestresort.com. Ocean Crest Resort, making memories since 1953. In Moclips, overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
For your next gourmet meal, you don't need classical training. All you need is a preheated oven and a comfy spot on the couch. Home bake Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy thin crust. Just $11 for a large. Order online at papamurphys.com. Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees.
It's that time of year again for Seattle Mariners baseball, and iFIBER One News Radio is the only station to carry the Mariners in the South Sound. Be part of the team and advertise your business on iFIBER One News Radio's coverage of the Mariners broadcast every day this season. Summertime in the Northwest means people traveling to enjoy outdoor activities and listening to the Mariners while camping, fishing, and boating. And the only place to listen to the Mariners around Puget Sound is on iFIBER One News Radio. Your business should be part of the Mariners broadcast each day to hit one of the biggest listening audiences in radio. Choose from packages that get you on every game or every inning of over 150 games this season. Call the sales team at iFIBER One News Radio today at 360-426-1030 or email us at sales@ifiber1.com and sign up to be part of the great season of Mariners baseball.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at 7:45, and we're continuing our conversations here on April 20th, 420, a popular day in the history of the cannabis culture and marijuana. And we've had a last segment, we talked to the first retailer, allowed the license in the city of Shelton there at TJ's. And now we're talking with Steve Fear from AgroPack. And Steve, good morning to you. First off, good to see you again. It's been a while. So I'm trying to think back, year and a half, 2 years maybe, the first time we met you,
right? As
this all started to kind of come together, and you started a group called AgroPack. That was your company,
right?
And where are we at with AgroPack since the last time we talked? Because it's been a long time.
It is. It has been. Well, originally we were wanting to go to the Port of Shelton,
right?
And then the Port Commissioners didn't want cannabis businesses there. Then we found a private piece of property here in Shelton, and the county put through an emergency moratorium literally the day before we were going to bring our permits down for that property. So we spent a lot of time and money developing that location, which incidentally now houses an operational cannabis grow operation. And then we went back to the port and worked with John Dobson to get the commissioners to change their position. And we found a piece over at John's Prairie and decided to build a brand new building. We're about, I would say, a week away now from bringing plants in. In fact, this week we're buying some product from another processor, and we're going to start processing a product this week and next week.
Wow! Well, congratulations. That's a big deal.
It is. It is.
Been a long time coming.
Yes.
You're kind of the first one out there, so you were the first one to feel the pushback. It sounds like.
Yeah, we've certainly encountered some obstacles. That's for sure.
Has it though turned out to be a positive experience? You think, as you're a week away, you can. I don't want to say you can see the finish line, but it's maybe over that last hill.
I would say so. I mean, I've grown a lot personally. I know that the people I work with have learned a lot. We learn things every day that are surprising to us. But yeah, it's been very rewarding to see a new building pop up from the ground. That we've had folks from the Liquor Control Board and other licensees come in and say that we have what they feel is one of the highest tech grows in the state.
Wow.
Is very gratifying.
There's a lot of growers in Washington. They're thinking that by 2020, Washington will outpace all the other states with legalized cannabis and in the processing and production. What exactly will you be doing up on the port property there?
Well, primarily the bulk of our space will be devoted to growing flower.
Okay.
But a good portion of that flower will be converted to an extract oil. And then that oil can be converted into products. In fact, one of the products we'll be coming out with next week is a salve, a medicated salve that you put on for pain.
Oh, wow.
we'll be doing chocolates. And so flour is just one part of what we're doing. I think processing is ultimately where this industry is going to really flourish.
So are you considered a grower or processor then?
Correct. Yeah, the state actually has 4 different kinds of licenses. Of course, the retail. Then you can be a producer. They grow. They have processors that turn those flours into edibles and such. And then the 4th license is a combined producer processor, and that's what we are.
I notice you're using the term flowers. Is that kind of the new word for the entire plant, or it seems is that changed
from just the bud?
From bud, or
well, technically it is a flower.
Okay.
And so in that sense, that we speak of it in that way.
Yeah.
But I think we look at the plant as a whole plant. We look at the roots. We look at the other tissues as all very distinctly different tissues with different properties.
So do you have a chemist up there, or are you the chemist?
It's funny. We were counting the other day. We have chemists that we work with. So no, I'm not a chemist, but we work with a lot of different folks that have a lot of great knowledge, and I try to learn from them as much as I can.
How's the how does the industry look from someone on the inside? Is it growing as big as people are saying in the state? Are there still continuing struggles that need to be addressed? Or
well, it's funny. 2 years ago, we had thoughts of, for instance, things like banking getting better.
Sure.
And we were fortunate enough to find a bank that will work with us. But banking's actually gotten harder for us over the last year. We were looking forward to prices that would stay relatively high. And I think both in Washington and in Colorado, a lot of the producers were shocked at how low the prices have gotten. Right now, there's flour selling for $3 and $4 a gram, where in the black market just a year ago, people were getting $10 a gram. So, there's been a lot of surprises along the way. I think that probably the biggest thing we're looking forward to is the medical stores opening up in July.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how is that going to affect are you going to have to grow different types of cannabis for specifically medical marijuana?
It's interesting you ask that. A lot of producer processors that got started in this industry early on started with many different strains. I know growers that came in with 50 or 60 strains, and they realized it was better to have less strains over time. And many of them tried to grow some of the medical flower that was a CBD rich. And there's basically a THC that kind of gets you high, and the CBD that people look to more as the medical portion of cannabis. But very few of the recreational stores were buying it. So right now, at this point, very few growers are actually growing that CBD. But in the next 3 months, when these medical stores come online, there'll be a huge demand for it. So yes, we do have different types of products that will be growing for the medical industry as well as the recreational industry.
Okay. And so have you also had some issues with your electricity bills or your lighting bills, like from any of the entities around?
Well, for starters, they're expensive, and I think that, it was about a year ago that PUD3 here in this county made a decision to segregate cannabis businesses. So we actually have our own rate, and they've identified all of our industries, and it's not that much higher when you really look at it right now. Right now, though, our biggest concern is that many of the other counties in the state are using a federal rebate credit to allow growers to use low power lights. And energy use is a huge part of our business and an issue for us. And we question why these other PUDs throughout the state are able to allow growers to use a credit that pays for 70% of someone's high energy efficient lights. And here in Mason County, we're forced to use kind of the older, less efficient lights because the PUD here doesn't feel comfortable doing that yet. And so we want to encourage them to revisit that and see what some of the other counties are doing throughout the state.
So what's it going to look like? You have lights on 24 hours a day, and then there's watering and things like that, or?
Well, every operation is different.
Sure.
You can basically put operations into hydro, which grow in water, and that's what we do, and dirt. I was surprised to read a statistic just last week that only about 1/3 of the growers automatically water. And so a lot of folks have 2 or 3 people out there just watering. We're pretty fortunate in that we've put a system together that waters itself. But the feeding, is something that needs to get done. And then the lights, we flip half of our building on and half of our building off. And we stagger that because it helps our power costs be much lower.
Oh, I bet. When you open next week, how many, once you're up and running, I'm sure there's going to be some struggles here and there, but eventually, once you're up and running, do you have an idea of how many employees you're going to have up there?
Well, geez, right now we've got, I think today we'll have 9 people working in the building. So we've got 3 full-time employees right now before we've even opened, including myself. The production facility will need at least 7 people. And then the processing facility could add between 4 and 5 people immediately. And then another 7 to 10 people as time goes on.
Wow. So we just got done talking with TJ's, the retailer. And so those 2 together, just 2 processor retailers in the county, that's almost 20 employees. That's great.
Well, no one needs to really amplify the fact that the lumber company shutting down in the area have cost a lot of jobs. And it's funny, I don't think that Mason County has experienced the same downturn because we have over 50 producers right now in this county, operational. And, those numbers that I spit out to you in terms of how many people we're hiring, those are full-time people that are there every day. When we have a harvest, we could add 12 to 15 more people. And so part of what I'm doing is working with some other producer processors to create a pool of these people so we can keep them working 5 days a week.
So go from place to place, perhaps.
That's a great idea. So do you know any people in Colorado that are producing or processing, and has their experience been similar to yours or smoother or...
I do. They had a very different process when they came into this. You had to have an existing business, an existing dispensary or an existing grow operation, and then convert. The other thing they did was about 1.5 years, 2 years before they did that recreational conversion, they made sure that all of those medical facilities were regulated. They made sure they had traceability systems. They made sure they were paying their taxes. And so this state didn't go that route for various reasons. And I think that's created some hiccups. But we're past those now.
So things are looking up for the culture here, the cannabis industry in Washington State?
Absolutely. I think it's huge.
And you mentioned the banking industry, and I think there's only 2 or 3 in the whole state that have decided to open up their doors to the cannabis. Do you see it changing anytime soon?
Geez, I wrote a piece in the Marijuana Venture about 1.5 years ago on banking, and I get 7 to 10 emails a week from people all over the country, Alaska, Oregon, New York. It's a huge issue. Right now in Washington, again, there's only about 2 or 3. What we're waiting for is the federal government to reschedule cannabis. That's the big elephant in the room. Right now, especially the retailers are getting hammered with taxes at the federal level. And so once that changes, then the banking will change completely for us.
I've heard that middle of the year, so just 1.5 months perhaps, is when the feds may make that schedule decision change. Do you think it's going to be going away from the Schedule 1 distinction that it has now?
Well, there's 5 schedules, and in things like heroin and crystal meth and marijuana are in Schedule 1, considered to have no medical value. And then on the 5 scale, you have drugs like Tylenol. But there are 2 drugs that aren't on any of the schedules. And in fact, they kill more people and do more damage than anyone: alcohol and tobacco. So our hope is that they're going to reschedule cannabis complete or deschedule it completely.
Oh, wow.
And if certainly if they can deschedule cannabis alcohol and tobacco, that cannabis could be lumped in that same category. The best case scenario for us is that they'll bring us to Schedule 3. That will open up the banking issues and cure the tax issues of E280. What we're scared of is that they will bring us to Schedule 2. Schedule 2 means that we have medical value, and we're concerned that the FDA then might step in and say, well, now we need to investigate this for the next decade and regulate it.
Oh, sure.
So The other issue is that if we get rescheduled to the second class, that will not make the banking issues or the E-280 tax issue go away. So we've got our fingers crossed that it'll go in the right direction.
Well, we'll continue to monitor that. We're talking with Steve here from AgroPack, getting ready to open those doors in a week or so. Good to talk with you. Good to see you again. We're just about out of time here for the news at 8 o'clock. But yeah, thanks for coming in and updating us on this.
Well, thanks for having me. We'll see you again hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon. It's 7:58 right now. We'll take that break. And when we come back, we get ready for the top of the hour newscast from ABC and Marilyn Foster. Sean Wells checks sports and more. It's all coming up here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak. Get clues during the Monday Morning Sports Report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner. First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 14th game against the Los Angeles Angels. Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFiber1newsradio.com. It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak. Mornings start with Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio. Join Jeff and Carol weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 and FM 1033. KMAS.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Frontrunner Donald Trump is promising to ramp up the pressure on Ted Cruz and other Republicans to drop out of the presidential race after trouncing them in the New York primary. But Cruz and John Kasich are staying in. ABC's Brad Milkey has the latest.
Even before his biggest victory yet, a confident Donald Trump suggested it might be time for Ted Cruz to step aside.
I would say so, but that's up to him. But I would certainly say so.
Tuesday night in Trump Tower, the GOP frontrunner wasted no time in declaring his rival dead in the water.
Senator Cruz is just about mathematically eliminated.
Perhaps on a quest to unify the party behind him, Trump never once used the phrase lie and Ted. This morning, though, he tweeted a follow-up saying Cruz could only play spoiler now. In his words, never a nice thing to do. Brad Milkey, ABC News, New York.
Hillary Clinton celebrated her New York victory, saying there have been other primary wins.
To the south, to the east, to the west, but this one's personal.
Clinton is increasingly turning her attention away from Bernie Sanders and focusing more on Donald Trump and Republicans, calling Trump dangerous for America. She's stumping today in Philadelphia ahead of the Pennsylvania primary. Bernie Sanders is taking the day off to recharge and possibly regroup in Vermont.
Next week, we will be competing in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, and Delaware, and we look forward to winning a number of those states.
But aides say they'll reassess whether to go forward after Tuesday's primaries. Clinton holds a virtually insurmountable delegate lead. Ecuador remains on edge as aftershocks from two recent powerful earthquakes continue to rattle nerves. The death toll there is now over 500 and could continue to climb. Not everyone is happy with this plan, but a school district in suburban Denver is arming its security staffers with military-style automatic rifles to protect children in the event of a school shooting. School officials insist it's safe and the guns are kept in patrol cars, not in the school. This is ABC News.
Prices are for base buildings only and may not be available in some areas. This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. So call General Steel now for the quality and the price in a pre-engineered steel building that you just can't beat. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How much can you save? How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $35,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first. Call 888-98-STEEL today and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. Don't let rising steel prices put your project in jeopardy. Call now to lock in your price for 3 months. Call 888-98-STEEL. That's 888-98-STEEL. Call today and save thousands. 888-98-STEEL. That's 888-987-8335.
Michael Strahan announced he's leaving. Live with Kelly and Michael.
I'm leaving this show. And to go over to GMA full time.
which is going to happen in September.
GMA is, of course, ABC's Good Morning America. Kelly Ripa is now searching for a new co-host. The Queen is celebrating a milestone birthday this week. More from ABC's Tom Rivers.
With the castle as a backdrop and under sunny skies, the Queen was treated to a Beatles classic, sung by hundreds of school children. The song was chosen to mark her 64 years on the throne, the longest ever by a reigning monarch. Getting into the spirit, Elizabeth nodded her head to the tune, accompanied by the band of the Irish Guards. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
Blake Shelton has won a critical legal ruling allowing his multi-million-dollar defamation lawsuit against In Touch magazine. Shelton insists he doesn't have a drinking problem. He just jokes about drinking. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County has 2 new department heads for Public Works and the newly created Community Services Department. The county commissioners unanimously appointed David Wyndham as the county's first Community Services Director. The commissioners also hired former Public Works Director Jerry Houth back to the position. He had previously worked for the county as Public Works Director more than 10 years ago. Wyndham steps into a new position created by the commissioners that puts him in the lead of 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He will supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director will also oversee the Environmental Health and the Community Family Health Departments. The reorganization consolidates and renames the County Department of Community Development and Public Health Department. It includes 5 management positions, and the Permit Assistance Center Manager position will be filled now that a Community Services Director has been hired. Chilton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum this evening. It's an open agenda to allow an opportunity for community members to comment and ask questions regarding school district operations and programs. Your participation is encouraged. The forum is from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Bordeaux Elementary Library. It's National Parks Week, and Jeff Vrabel, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager for Mason County, came on Daybreak to talk about the variety of parks that are in Mason County. MCRA is one of the biggest attractions with batting cages, several ball fields, picnicking, and play toys for the kids. Vrabel shared some improvements that are in the works.
One of the projects that we're actually going to start this year is we're going to be renovating fields 6 and 7. I don't know if you're familiar with fields 2 and 3 have synthetic infields. This year, we're going to be breaking ground on making fields 6 and 7 synthetic infields, which will reduce the rainouts and things like that. So even more play available, because you can get out on a synthetic field where you can't in just a marginal rainy situation. Synthetic fields, you can still get out there and the kids can practice and on the edges of the season.
The county has 22 parks in total. Learn more about them in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. State shellfish managers have approved 9 days of razor clam digging on the first of 3 ocean beaches. The clam dig on ocean beaches begins today on Long Beach. See the list of dates, beaches, and low tides on our website, iFIBER1Newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak. Get clues during the Monday Morning Sports Report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner. First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 14th game against the Los Angeles Angels. Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFIBER1Newsradio.com. It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak. Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Hey, just a little note to say thank you for the outstanding work that you, Dennis, and especially Jorge and the crew performed for us on our roofing project. On a scale of 1 to 10, we rate it at 10.5. It was a fantastic feeling from start to finish. Your company is a first-class operation and will definitely give your name to all of our friends and family if they're in need of your services.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Sheldon Soccer picked up a big road win, knocking off Mount Tahoma 1-0. The High Climbers are back in action, hosting Lincoln this Thursday. North Mason baseball lost a tough one to North Kitsap 11-4. The Bulldogs are back in the diamond at Olympic this afternoon. Shelton Fast Pitch hosts North Thurston, and Shelton baseball hosts Foss at 4 p.m. in Narrows League Conference play. The Seattle Mariners dropped their second game in a row, losing a close one to the Cleveland Indians 3-2. Starting pitcher Wade Miley was inconsistent for the Mariners, giving up 9 hits with 3 earned runs and 4 walks in just 3 2/3 of an inning. Kyle Seager recorded 2 hits for the Mariners with a big solo home run in the 6th inning. The Mariners are back on the diamond in Cleveland this afternoon with pregame on iFIBER ONE News Radio at 2 p.m. First pitch set for 3:10. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 8, and I'm Carol Gardner, and we're going to have some sunshine today with highs in the mid to upper 70s. We're going to peak out about midday, and then some cooler weather patterns are moving in. Could create some thunderstorms, and the weather will cool down by early evening. Tomorrow, also a cooler, mostly cloudy morning, and then sun with temps near 70. Right now, it's 55.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here, iFIBER ONE News Radio. Find more know-how and your local Napa store at napaonline.com. It's 8:10 on this Wednesday morning. Good morning to you, Carol.
Good morning.
Beautiful. Yesterday and the day before that, some amazing temperatures around here, record-breaking temperatures. And
both days we broke records, so it's been pretty cool.
Today has been a little
pretty
cool.
hot.
I see what you did there. A little different today.
Yeah, so like last night when you went outside in the evening, you could just go out. You didn't have to worry about having a jacket. I mean, it was just amazingly nice. This evening, there's some different weather patterns moving in, so it is going to get a lot cooler. So you might want to bring a light jacket with you.
Coming up, we have some more information regarding the Reed brothers. Those are the two guys from Arlington who have not been seen recently, and they think the last times things have shown up, the cars down there.
Yeah, they think they may have crossed the border.
So we'll have an update on that story for you. Also, Earth Day is coming up this Friday, and we'll talk about trying to live a waste-free life. Man, and I would assume that includes composting and then total recycling.
Recycling every single thing.
Remember those commercials? Northwest Recycler, you're like us.
Yes.
And it was the people who socks and sandals guy, you're like us. There's those extreme recyclers who recycle the green bottles, the brown bottles, the clear bottles. I'm not that deep into it.
Yeah, but you put everything in a recycling bin. Your glass, you have glass recycling.
We do. Once a month.
The problem with it is, though, our recycling companies don't recycle enough stuff for, you know what I mean? There's not enough places, types.
One of the best places, and this is for folks familiar with the Tumwater area in Thurston County. You buy a new TV, and you pull it out of the box, and there's all that styrofoam. And you find the code on it, the recycle sign and the number. I think it's a 6 for the styrofoam there. Very hard to get rid of that stuff. But in Tumwater, there's a place just past Capitol Boulevard, down Tumwater Boulevard. Used to be industrial decades ago.
Back when I was in high school running that road.
In high school as well. But that's one of the only places where you can drop off that type of styrofoam.
Really? Did not know that. Good information.
Had to use that place a couple different times. 8:13 iFIBER ONE News Radio. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
What's taking so long to download that song? What are you using? Dial-up?
No way, dude. I've got cable modem.
What are you, a caveman? You have access to fiber. Why are you paying more for less when you can be using the fastest internet on the planet with iFIBER internet?
Righteous, dude. What's that?
Hurley, you could be surfing the web at least 40 to 200 times faster than cable modem using true light speed with iFIBER Communications fiber internet and still save some major bucks over cable modems. Get off that old analog cable and join this century with iFIBER internet. Hurley?
Yeah?
So what are you doing now?
Dude, I'm calling iFIBER to get hooked up so I can totally surf the web at light speed.
Oh, you're such a caveman.
Ha! Totally.
You can sign up now with iFIBER Communications. You can find us on the web at iFIBER.tv or call us today at 360-427-4000. That's 360-427-4000.
iFIBER Internet. It's totally awesome, dude.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Hi, this is Terry Allen with a look at the community calendar on iFIBER One News Radio. Nonprofits post your events on iFIBER1newsradio.com. The Mason County Senior Activity Center sponsors bingo karaoke at the Shelton Pavilion Friday the 25th from 7 to 10. Lots of excitement and humor in this mixture of bingo games and singing. Beverages and snacks. Stores open at 6 p.m. for adults 21 and up. This month's theme, superheroes. For iFIBER One News Radio, I'm Terry Allen.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
8:15 on a Wednesday morning. It's April 20th here. Time for us to talk transit with Christina Fremont from Mason Transit Authority. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Carol. I do want to clarify that Fremont is spelled with one E.
I saw that email. I saw that note.
We have one bad speller.
No, it's okay. Almost everybody does. I got a new company credit card, and it's spelled with two E's.
It's got the two E's.
Yeah.
Well, good. Then that means the charges aren't yours.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Transit Talk. We've had some great conversations the last couple of weeks about massive, I would consider, adventures. I think you were actually doing business on one of these trips, but
it's still an adventure.
An adventure you were able to get from the Transit Community Center up to Bremerton, hop on the ferry to Seattle, and make it to your meetings within time. Then get on the Sound Transit all the way back down to the Lakewood area, and then to Olympia, eventually back to where you find your home. Pretty cool trip.
Yeah, I wanted to also add to that, when we were talking last week, us three, we're able-bodied, we can walk.
Right.
And so we were talking from that perspective. And I want to acknowledge that people who might be differently abled, whether they use a mobility device or, any other situation, that our buses are ADA accessible. And so I wanted people to know that even though I was saying I walked here and I did this, that you can take that trip also. We have ramps, we have lifts for the wheelchairs and wheelchair securement. The lifts are for even if you're not in a wheelchair, but you're somebody who has a hard time bending your knee to go up a step. A lot of our buses will kneel down. If you do use a wheelchair, we have securement areas on the bus, the ferry, same thing. And then once you get over to Seattle, if you're somebody that can't be going up a sharp hill, because there's lots of hills, as we know in Seattle, Seattle has a paratransit service. So if you're somebody who meets the ADA requirements, you have the ability to have a bus meet you at the ferry terminal and take you where you need to go from there. And I thought that was really important to acknowledge. So thanks for talking about the trip again.
So you have on the buses, I'm imagining the first the first third of the bus is where the seats could flip up, and that's where the wheelchairs can
Yep,
be
you're
set.
obviously somebody who's ridden the bus before.
I
You
am
know
familiar.
where it's at.
I know where the bus. I know.
Yeah. And, I think that's a good segue to make a point that for people who've maybe never ridden the bus or maybe aren't aware that that first row of seats, that's considered a priority seating area for people with disabilities or, somebody carrying, maybe a mother carrying a child kind of thing, pregnancy, people who it's going to be a little bit harder for them to get to the back of the bus and navigate back there. And sometimes there's unseen disabilities. And so we always want to make sure that if a bus driver asks somebody to please move from those seats and move to the back, to trust that the bus driver has a reason for doing so and to kindly give up their seats and move to the back of the bus.
Is that a common thing that people don't do that?
It depends on the transit agency. Sometimes, yes. And I think where the hard part is, so by law, ADA is, somebody who's been determined to have a disability. But if you have somebody, a parent or guardian with a child in a stroller who's in that area, and then you pull up and you have somebody who uses a wheelchair who needs that area, I think sometimes that's where there's a little bit of difficulty because it's, who has the priority. By law, the person I think using the wheelchair does. But that doesn't necessarily mean it feels good to ask somebody to break down their stroller that might have groceries and other things in it. And so we try to encourage our riders to be courteous and do those things without having to have conflict.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because I'm not a frequent rider.
Yeah.
And so I would just get on in the front because then I'm like looking for my place to get off. So I'm not really thinking in those terms. So that's good information.
You can tell regular bus riders, because most bus riders are very courteous. And I've noticed, we'll be pulling up to a stop and it's seen that there's somebody, there's an obvious one, and people will automatically get up and give up the seat. Or if it's, a senior, a person who maybe isn't even using a wheelchair or mobility device, but just kind, courteous, respectful things that we've been taught supposedly since birth.
Yeah. Interesting.
by our communities. But moving on, let's talk about Earth Day.
Earth Day is on Friday.
Earth Day is on Friday. But guess what? Every day is Earth Day for public transit. It is, but I wanted to encourage listeners to give transit a try if you haven't already. If you have a 20-mile round-trip commute, you can reduce your carbon emissions by 20 pounds just that one day a week. But if you did it every day, you're talking over 4,800 pounds of carbon emission in a year. It's huge. And then I also want to thank our people who are already riding the bus or using our van pool program or worker driver, because we all benefit from that. And I found a lot of statistics nationwide regarding the benefit of public transit, but I wanted to make it more real for our community and highlight that in our van pool program, we have currently 101 people using van pool. And in our worker driver program, we have 4 buses that fit up to 50 people in each bus. It's pretty well used, so that's a potential of 200 people. So that's 301 individual cars that we're pulling off the road every day for commute. And most of these people are commuters going to Bremerton area and the naval base up there. So Highway 3, if you've ever been on Highway 3, imagine 301 more cars on Highway 3. So not only is it reducing the carbon emission by pulling those cars off and reducing it down, you also have the congestion on Highway 3 that it's reducing. So then you have, when you think about infrastructure, saving infrastructure costs and the wear and tear. So again, I just want to encourage everybody for Earth Day. A great way to celebrate it is just get out on the bus. Even if you don't want to ride it to work, ride it to a park, ride it to the store, give it a try.
Well, it's National Park Week, so we were talking to the city and the county about their parks. There's over 22 parks in the county.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
A lot of people didn't know that.
I know. So you could map it out maybe and even see if there's a bus route that goes to it and drop off.
Well, I know that we go to Belfair State Park. I know that we have a route that goes past Potlatch. I know that we have a route that goes to Triton Cove State Park. We talked about that one, but that one's outside Mason County. those are the ones I know of off the top of my head. Of course, we have a bus that goes by the Wallace Neeland Park here. So yeah, you can go to our website, which is masontransit.org, and click under services and find all the different bus routes to map it out. And if you're unsure, there's also Google Maps where you can plan your transit trip. So you could put in a park that I'm not mentioning right now because I don't know about it and see what bus might take you there. And if a bus doesn't pop up, give us a call because we might have dial-a-ride available.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
One final thing I want to, before we get out here, last hour, we were talking about the cannabis industry and the marijuana, and it's 420. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because you talked about kind and courteous bus riders,
yes,
is vaping. So the governor just signed a new vaping bill for e-cigarettes and yada, yada, yada. There's no vaping on buses.
Nope. No marijuana, no pot, no vaping,
But even
no cigarettes.
E-cigarettes as in
right.
Just regular tobacco.
Right.
Absolutely no smoking.
No smoking on buses or transit facilities. So that also goes for at a bus stop or at a shelter. You're supposed to be 25 feet away from that if you're smoking.
So okay.
Yeah. At our transit facility, we regulate that pretty well. I have to thank our riders. I think for the most part, our riders are very courteous, and took a little while at first to get them used to the idea of no smoking at the transit community anywhere on the property. It's a no smoking campus. But after a while, I mean, I don't really see an issue much anymore.
Have you heard any stories of people vaping on the bus?
I think when it first was getting big, yes, but our drivers are on top of it. Sure. And I think other riders are on top of it also, because I don't know if you've ever driven by a vape lounge and looked over in the windows and it looks like it's 420 all the time because it's just this big, heavy smoke
smoke or mist or vapor, whatever it is. One person do one puff off this thing, and it is like a fog bank.
It is like the Halloween fog machine. You don't need those anymore. You just set a little group of people off in the corner and have them be vaping, and there you go. You've got your Halloween effects.
So you also said at the bus stops.
Yes.
25 feet away because it's considered a public
it's considered
spot.
a public space.
Wow.
Yes. And that one we can't really regulate as much. We, to try and staff all of our bus stops would be ridiculous. But, if a driver sees it, they're going to call it out. And I think riders call each other out kind of thing. And we hope people, we have taken steps to put little signs on the shelters where those are at, where it says, the little no smoking symbol kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Mason Transit is all over social media these days on the new Facebook page, facebook.com/mason.transit. Also on Twitter at MTA Alerts.
Right.
And you can follow both of those to find out ride information, share photos of fun trips that you've been on the Facebook page.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see that.
People can do some of those.
Yep.
And always check out masontransit.org, the website for sure.
Yep.
Christina, good to talk with you.
Good to talk to both of you.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
Earth Day.
Yeah.
Although it's every day, right?
Right, every day for transit.
That's what we're finding out. It's 8:26 right now. Take a quick break. Mary Lynn Foster has the latest in local news. We'll get a stock report as well. It's all coming up here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
During Countdown to Earth Day, the Lucky Eagle Casino reminds you that our biggest concern when caring for our Earth is that we put it back the way we found it. The Lucky Eagle Casino says we should all remember to leave the land as good as or better than we found it.
The following message is brought to you by Whitney's Chevrolet. Do you remember when the conservation clubs warned us we were wasting the land? Now we've learned the hard way. They were right. During Countdown to Earth Day, Whitney Chevrolet reminds you that it's not too late to get involved.
Do you dance badly or hug in public? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Need a ride? Call 426-8294. Mason County Taxi, 426-8294. Anytime, anywhere. Call when you need a quick, affordable ride. 426-TAXI, 426-8294.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, 827, iFIBER One News Radio. Getting ready for a morning stock number report here. Carol, how you doing?
I am doing great. It's another beautiful day for a while, and then we're going to have some cooler weather come in, and then we'll talk about that tomorrow, what exactly is going to be happening through the weekend. But we did break some more records yesterday. It's amazing that we did. I mean, it was 84 at SeaTac, and the old record was 74. So it's been a great tease for summer.
I gotta tell you this.
For some people that like
I was trying to, one of our fence posts has rotted out the bottom. So we got to change it out, so the dogs don't knock the fence down and run over to the neighbors. Yesterday, a perfect day for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny, beautiful. So I go to start digging out.
Wait, did you put your overalls on first?
No, I did not wear my overalls yesterday.
That could be why this is not going to be a good ending.
Here's why I didn't, because they were still messy from last weekend's pressure washing.
No washer and dryer. It's a Slikey household.
Well, I don't think you should wash overalls. Just let it continue.
But you said you didn't put them on because they were dirty.
No, they were like dirt rubbing against my legs. It would have hurt dirty. Anyway, so I start digging to take out the post, and the person before me had put in an extra large bag of Quikrete cement, and they put the whole bag in the ground here. And so my dad and I are trying to figure out how to pull this cement out of the ground. And it is just the most, my back hurts. And I had to, so what I had to do, because this piece of wood had rotten out so bad, I had to drill into where the impression would have been and then shim down these boards. Oh, home ownership. I love it. I love it. I would encourage everybody to look ahead. We got Radio Real Estate coming up on Friday.
Yeah.
With Dawn Pinnell. She'll be in.
Talking about buying a home.
Now's the time.
You get to go out there and break your back.
I love
posts.
Listen, I love being able to go out and work in the yard.
Yes.
In my yard.
Yes, your yard.
On iFIBER
Your
One
grass.
News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County has 2 new department heads for Public Works and the newly created Community Services Department. The county commissioners unanimously appointed David Wyndham as the county's first Community Services Director. The commissioners also hired former Public Works Director Jerry Houth back to the position. He had previously worked for the county as Public Works Director more than 10 years ago. Wyndham steps into a new position created by the commissioners that puts him in the lead of 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He will supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director will also oversee the Environmental Health and the Community Family Health Departments. The reorganization consolidates and renames the County Department of Community Development and Public Health Department. It includes 5 management positions, and the Permit Assistance Center Manager position will be filled now that a Community Services Director has been hired. Chilton School District Superintendent Alex Apostle is inviting parents and members of the community to an open community forum this evening. It's an open agenda to allow an opportunity for community members to comment and ask questions regarding school district operations and programs. Your participation is encouraged. The forum is from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Bordeaux Elementary Library. It's National Parks Week, and Jeff Vrabel, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager for Mason County, came on Daybreak to talk about the variety of parks that are in Mason County. MCRA is one of the biggest attractions, with batting cages, several ball fields, picnicking, and play toys for the kids. Vrabel shared some improvements that are in the works.
One of the projects that we're actually going to start this year is we're going to be renovating fields 6 and 7. I don't know if you're familiar with fields 2 and 3 have synthetic infields. This year, we're going to be breaking ground on making fields 6 and 7 synthetic infields, which will reduce the rainouts and things like that. So even more play available, because you can get out on a synthetic field where you can't in just a marginal rainy situation, synthetic fields, you can still get out there and the kids can practice and on the edges of the season.
The county has 22 parks in total. Learn more about them in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. State shellfish managers have approved 9 days of razor clam digging on the first of 3 ocean beaches. The clam dig on ocean beaches begins today on Long Beach. See the list of dates, beaches, and low tides on our website, iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3. I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Well, thanks, Mary Lynn. We'll get to the sports in just a second. Right now, though, on the phone is Karen Shade from Edward Jones.
Good morning. Happy sunny Wednesday.
Happy sunny Wednesday indeed. What's going on with Wall Street? Is everybody happy on Wall Street?
Well, U.S. stocks are mixed with little change this morning as investors continue to assess earnings reports and the decline in oil prices. In earnings news, both Coca-Cola as well as U.S. Bancorp reported first quarter results in line with expectations. In economic news, U.S. existing home sales rose 5.1% in March, a sign of recovery in the housing market after a rocky start to the year. Bond prices are slightly higher this morning. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best performing sector is healthcare, while the worst performing sector is consumer staples. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 27 points at 18,081. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down 0.31 at 2,100. And the NASDAQ Composite Index is up 12 points at 4,953. This morning volume on the New York Stock Exchange is high, with about 271 million shares being traded, and advancers and decliners are evenly matched on the day. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is up $5.34 to $1,255.52. The spot price of silver is up 23 cents to $17.16, and crude oil prices are down 12 cents. $40.96. In the bond market, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.57%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is 1.77%. Stocks of local interest, Amazon is up $6.37. Costco is down 28 cents. Boeing is up $2.60. Starbucks is up 41 cents, and Microsoft is down 23 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton, and if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590, and daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
All right, Karen, have a great day.
You too.
It's 8:35 now at iFIBER One News Radio, and ABC Sports is coming up next.
Gillis Auto Center in Shelton. Best deals, best price, best trade, and low payments. Truck Month continues at family-owned Gillis Auto Center with our entire truck inventory discounted for this event. Ford F-Series, best-selling vehicle in America. Huge rebates, great selection from half-ton on up. Gas, diesel, 2 or 4-wheel drive. Huge savings up to $10,000. Just go to Gillis. The all-new Gillis Auto Center in Shelton. City Center, Matlock exit, and 24/7 at GillisAutoCenter.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says, we've got to redo the kitchen, and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety, and we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Spurs show off a suffocating defense. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Packer reporting on sports. Defensive prowess was the main theme on the hardwood Tuesday night. The Spurs held the Grizzlies to a franchise-low 68 points and received some solid offensive production off the bench.
Patty, straight away against Farmar, fires a 3 over Farmar, and he nails it. Good day, Knight, 79-59, and the Spurs can put this one in the back pocket.
WOAI with the call. Patty Mills and the Spurs cruised to a 94-68 win and a 2-0 series lead. In Atlanta, it was over before it began.
Kyle Korver, another 3. He's got another one. Kyle Korver, and the Hawks lead 19-3.
On WCNN, the Celtics mustered just 7 points in the first quarter as the Hawks seal Game 2 to go up 2-0 in the series. On the ice,
he walks in, shoots, scores! Matt Cullen beats Henrik Lundqvist. He just lost his liquor license.
Mike Lang, Penguins Radio Network. Pittsburgh has a 2-1 series lead over the Rangers. Lightning strikes late in Detroit.
Right circle, Druid, open. Sanderson, score! Score! Pull on! Pilatus made it 3-2 with 2:59 left.
David Mishkin on 970 WFLA. Andres Palat's first goal of the series lifts the Lightning to the road victory. The series heads back to Tampa Bay, where the Red Wings face possible elimination. Also facing elimination are the Blackhawks, who lost at home to the Blues Tuesday night. St. Louis holds a 3-1 game advantage in that series, and the Ducks cut into the Predators series lead with a 3-0 shutout. Nashville is up 2-1. A busy night in baseball where Bryce Harper continued to rake, making the case for baseball's best player.
The 2-1 pitch. Swinging a long drive. Right center field. Way back. Stem to the wall. He leaps, and it's gone. Bryce Harper has another grand slam.
WJFK, Harper's 7th home run of the young season, not to mention his 2nd grand slam and 2 bases-loaded opportunities. Nationals 7, Marlins 0. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Sheldon Soccer picked up a big road win, knocking off Mount Tahoma 1-0. The Climbers are back in action, hosting Lincoln this Thursday. North Mason baseball lost a tough one in North Kitsap 11-4. The Bulldogs are back in the diamond at Olympic this afternoon. Shelton Fast Pitch hosts North Thurston, and Shelton baseball hosts Foss at 4 p.m. in Narrows League Conference play. The Seattle Mariners dropped their 2nd game in a row, losing a close one to the Cleveland Indians 3-2. Starting pitcher Wade Miley was inconsistent for the Mariners, giving up 9 hits with 3 earned runs and 4 walks in just 3 2/3 of an inning. Kyle Seager recorded 2 hits for the Mariners with a big solo home run in the 6th inning. The Mariners are back on the diamond in Cleveland this afternoon with pregame on iFIBER ONE Newsradio at 2 p.m. First pitch set for 3:10. For iFIBER ONE Newsradio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. Good morning. It's 8:40. I'm Carol Gardner, and it's going to be another sunny day. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. We're going to peak out around midday, and then some cooler weather patterns are going to be coming in. Could create some thunderstorms this afternoon, and the weather will cool down by early evening. Tomorrow looks to be about the same, cooler, mostly cloudy morning, and then sun with temps near 70. And right now it's 56.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Hey, good morning to you. It's Daybreak, iFIBER ONE News Radio, 8:41. Jeff and Carol with you here on this Wednesday, 420. Ow. And before we get on with the show, I will we'll have that story on how 420 got to.
I've been waiting all.
I know you have been, and I don't want to speak out of turn.
All right.
Trying something new. This Monday, join us for another Mariners Monday trivia contest right here on Daybreak. Listen during Sports Director Sean Wells' reports during the newscasts and get the clues you need to answer our question. And once again, between 8:15 and 8:30, the Mariners theme music will play. And the first person with the right answer calling into 360-462-1041 will win tickets to the May 14th game against Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That night, additionally, Root Sports Kyle Seager bobblehead night. So the first 20,000 fans into the safe will pick up one of those Kyle Seager bobbleheads. 8:42 and some new information on these the Reed brothers, Carol.
The Snohomish County prosecutor formally charged the Reed brothers with murder. That happened yesterday, even though searchers have yet to find the bodies of Patrick Shunn and Monique Patenaude. Here's the latest from ABC.
The massive manhunt for suspects and brothers John and Tony Reed taking an urgent turn. Authorities now say Patrick Shunn and Monique Patenaude were likely killed following a property dispute.
Evidence gathered at the former home of John Reed, including blood and some other evidence, leads us to believe that they both are the victims of a homicidal violence.
Snohomish County spokesperson Sherry Ireton says they found the suspect's car abandoned in Arizona Monday and now believe both may be heading to Mexico. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
When we have more information on that story, of course, we'll get it to you here on Daybreak. We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll live a waste-free life. At least we'll try. And we'll check out how allergy season is coming down the pike on these oh so nice days we've been having.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Hi guys, Kat here with iFIBER One News Radio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all the while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFIBER One News Radio and the customer decides, hey, I'm right by there. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers can either drive to you or through you. And here at iFIBER One News Radio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South Sound region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
I feel right at home on JohnLScott.com.
Hi, this is Dawn Pinnell from John L. Scott Real Estate here in Shelton. For a while now, I have been saying welcome home and sharing with you some great listings and some hopefully educational and interesting items of riveting radio real estate topics.
Don Pinnell's Radio Real Estate every other Friday at 8:45 on iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033.
I would love to help you say, I'm home.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County invites you to shop their local retail stores in Belfair and in Shelton. At Habitat for Humanity stores, you'll find amazing bargains on discounted home improvement supplies, gently used furniture, and so much more. And when you shop Habitat for Humanity, your dollars are put to work helping to improve, build, and maintain affordable housing right here in Mason County. Habitat for Humanity. Let's build a strong community together.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 1033 presents Daybreak.
8:45 at iFIBER One News Radio. You know, we're just talking. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
It is Daybreak here, and good morning to you. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Daybreak. We're just talking with Christina Fremont from Mason Transit, and we're talking about Earth Day. And Earth Day's coming up on Friday, so we'll have a report from ABC on living waste-free. Try to get to that zero waste consumption.
It is tricky. I mean, you go to the store because you obviously have to eat, and then you have like the coverings on the food, the plastic, styrofoam, like you were saying, and those things are not easily recyclable yet. A recyclable system, even though we do focus on a lot of recycling, our recycling is not, I don't think, where
it should be, where it could be. Listen, they still have hard times making packages that are not impossible to open. They're not. They got to fix that first before they start moving on to other things like being able to recycle.
Yeah, at least you don't have to. Do people buy CDs anymore?
No.
Because remember those cases trying to get those things open?
They used to sell little devices.
Yeah, just to
help
get them open.
Rip the cellophane wrappers on those things.
Back in the old days, it was like just trying to get your shoe on. You had that shoehorn.
When I worked at Blockbuster, 15 years ago or whatever, we would have our VHS tapes, and then after you watch them a couple times, we'd sell them to folks, and so I got pretty good at doing that cellophane shrink wrap thing. It was fun.
What a bunch of waste.
What a bunch of waste indeed. Holy cazoli. Before we get to this report, what's going on with the pollen these days? I was sneezing mad cats yesterday.
Well, you say you're not allergic to any of the top allergens that are out right now, which is mulberry,
I've never
sycamore,
been
and
tested.
ash.
I just know that some days are worse than others.
Well, higher temperatures increase pollen production, and dry and windy weather, of course, helps blow it around. And then if there's the lower temperature and rain, it will reduce it, which we're going to be getting starting through tonight and through tomorrow.
Okay.
But if pollen is bugging you, keep your windows closed in your house and your car. And if you have air conditioning, hopefully, otherwise it's just super hot.
Now, how small is this stuff? Now, can I keep my windows open if I have screens, or will it go through the screens?
It will go through the screens. Okay. Yeah, it's just, it's so small. It gets up into your nose and your sinuses. And, say your air conditioners to just recirculate inside your home. They also say the pollen counts are highest between 5 and 10 in the morning,
Sure.
which is interesting. So limit your exposure on those days and mornings that are super hot or windy. Avoid line drying your clothes and bedding when local pollen count is high, which is...
You know what I am
I love the smell of clothes dried outside. It's so wonderful.
You know what I'm not looking forward to is that dusting of yellow that comes when the Scotch broom pops out and it just gets everywhere. And then
I hear it every year from you. I guess I'm very fortunate I'm not allergic to Scotch broom.
Man.
But it is, I know people, it's a tough one. And it just drops to the ground. I mean, it's a heavy pollen.
We are in our neighborhood, the homeowners association. We every couple years we have to pay someone to come out and rip out a bunch of Scotch broom, and it's dang near impossible to get it.
I mean,
fully.
It's an invasive plant, but it is pretty much naturalized because it is everywhere. You would think that it grew here, from Scotland
to make it look pretty on the highways.
Yeah, somebody
Allegedly,
brought
that's
it.
what I heard.
A lot of the plants, somebody from England or wherever brought them over because they wanted to keep that home feeling.
Getting the last laugh on that war. They're fine. They're getting this. 8:48 at iFIBER One News Radio. Friday is Earth Day.
Take a look in your trash can. Chances are you are adding to the 250 million tons of trash Americans dump each year. Believe it or not, 25-year-old Lauren Singer lives totally trash-free.
Almost 4 years now.
4 years in this little tiny jar.
Yes.
Do you even have a trash can?
I don't have a trash can.
Americans produce an average of 4.4 pounds of trash per day, but only 34% is recycled. What is trash?
For me, trash is anything that would go to landfill. Trash is still the stuff that's hanging out on the street, anything that people can't reuse or compost or recycle.
In college, while majoring in environmental studies, Lauren decided to live a zero-waste life.
So I made a decision to stop using plastic, but that is really difficult because everything is plastic.
She suggests buying recyclable aluminum or reusable glass jars.
I realized that I couldn't just buy my way out of using plastic. I had to start making a lot of products myself.
So Lauren started making her own beauty and cleaning products, even selling environmentally friendly laundry detergent online. She buys all her clothes secondhand, shops package-free, composts, and eats organic, local food.
I started living zero waste because it aligned with my values. But I continued living zero waste because it saved me a ton of money, it changed my diet, and I'm healthier.
On her blog, Trash is for Tossers, Lauren suggests some additional zero-waste alternatives. One is homemade toothpaste. Her recipe, peppermint, coconut oil, stevia, and baking soda.
And then the cool thing is like, say it's too salty for you. You can add more coconut oil, you can add more peppermint. And there's nothing in here that you couldn't eat or swallow.
I just ate it. And
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, see?
I'm just gonna my teeth feel clean. Lauren may be living waste-free, but she doesn't expect everyone to. Her hope is that we simply try. For the people that watching will say, well, I have 3 kids, I work 14 hours a day, I don't have time.
I think it's just a misconception that living sustainably takes a lot of time. When I started living this lifestyle, I had a full-time job while I was a full-time student, had a full-time social life, and a full-time boyfriend.
You were busy.
I was busy.
And you figured it out.
And I figured it out.
Nikki Batiste, ABC News, New York.
So 4.4 pounds per day of waste, and only 34% of that is recyclable. Wow, that's a lot of trash.
It is.
Here's my hot take on this one. So she's talking about making her own toothpaste, and she lists out 5 ingredients. Now, doesn't each one of those 5 ingredients have packaging?
Probably.
Or you buy 1 tube of toothpaste that's got the box and the tube. Am I missing something there?
Well, you should check out her website. She has 2 steps to zero waste. Evaluate, first step, and then transition, and that's when you start to downsize. But she says it's never ending to do the process.
Right,
So
you're always constantly maintaining.
yeah, you gotta adapt to the lifestyle that you're not going to buy anything that is this certain way and very simple lifestyle.
Here's how I would screw this up. I would try to do everything all at once and then fail miserably at all of those things and say, boy, this doesn't even work.
Yeah.
Throw my hands in the air. I think you can see me doing that.
Yes.
This doesn't work, and then just go back to my wasteful lifestyle beforehand. So you take these things one step at a time, choose whatever.
Yeah, I do base some buying on less
Packaging. Is it the struggle of opening the packaging or the thought of not having to waste the packaging?
Yeah, the thought.
The thought?
Yeah.
Very good.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Is a clean-shaven face healthier than a bearded one? We'll share some surprising whisker news today on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Wednesday, April 20th. It is the 111th day of the year, and actor Ryan O'Neal has a birthday. Which is healthier, a clean-shaven or a bearded face? Until now, the science has been a little fuzzy. But the first controlled study is showing bearded chins harbor fewer bacteria than smooth ones. It's thought that microabrasions caused by shaving are more hospitable to certain forms of bacteria. And here's another intriguing tidbit from the study. A sample from one bearded subject contained a microbe that destroyed other bacteria, including a form of E. coli. Further study is needed, of course. But if moldy bread gave us penicillin, who knows what could be buried in someone's whiskers? That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more and sign up for our free newsletter at almanac.com.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
8:54 here, iFIBER ONE News Radio. After we get wrapped up here, just a couple minutes from right now, we'll put the interviews from this morning on the Daybreak page. You can always watch the show on YouTube and our brand new iFIBER1newsradio.com. Really interesting information during the 7 o'clock hour this morning as we talked with Tom from TJ's Cannabis and then Steve from AgroPack, as today is a big cultural holiday, pot holiday. And so here's the deal. So here's basically what I've found for the reason why it's 420. They're in San Rafael, California. It's the 60s or 70s, whatever. It's all hazy to me.
You weren't even around.
And so these 5 dudes are hanging out, and they're wallflowers. They're called the Waldos. And there is the rumor that somewhere near them is a large grow out in the woods. Somebody is, and you hear about this in California all the time, that in the forests and
California,
the state forests and stuff. Well, there'll be big grow operations that people will do. They won't even know about them until they come across them. So, anyways, the deal that I've found out to believe is that these 5 dudes decide one day that they're going to go find this.
The mystical operation.
Mecca, not a grow, just a bunch of plants in a pasture or something. So they decide on a time to meet to go, and the time was 4:20. And so, as I said earlier, think about it this way: you get done with school, because these guys are in high school, and who knows what time, 3:30 they get done with school, and they say, well, let's go find this thing. Well, I've got stuff to do. I got to go home, feed the dogs. I don't know, pack a lunch. We'll meet in an hour or so. We'll meet at 4:20. And so then that's when they go and explore.
Right. Okay. So has anybody talked to these infamous 5 Waldos?
Yeah. There's articles all over the main one that I read came from the Huffington Post, so you can find that. And so these Waldos are out searching, and they do it on multiple occasions, all at the same time. So the 420. So that's where that kind of, now these Waldos become enamored and start following the Grateful Dead. And then within the interactions with the traveling with them, they start talking about the mystical place and the this and that. And then the number kind of gets into that culture. And then so it just kind of spreads like a weed. And before you know it, that's kind of what the deal is.
All
that's
right.
Basically what I've decided. You can use that if you want.
You need to talk to one of those real Waldos.
Take it for what you're worth. Take it for what it's worth, I suppose. But interesting morning, 7 o'clock hour. We had 2 great interviews, lots of good information from both gentlemen, from 2 sides of the industry. One was a retailer, one was a producer processor, and just those 2 are employing near 20 people in the county.
Right. And then Steve's Agri-Patch, they're just kicking in next week, so they're going to be employing more as they continue to grow and expand. So,
and there's about 50 of these processing areas.
In Mason County, just in Mason County.
So it's pretty amazing here. 8:57 at iFiber One News Radio. Some big events upcoming this weekend.
Hood Canal events, Traveler 5K this Saturday around the Alderbrook Golf Course neighborhood.
Yeah.
Dale is going to MC. It's going to be a great day. You get up there, you can run, you can walk. There's going to be a lot of vendors, food, music, lots of fun activities up there.
Additionally, it's opening day for Mason County Youth Baseball, so a lot of families will be out at MCRA watching the kids play ball. I'll be out there with you doing the public address announcing and welcoming all the players onto the fields. Also this weekend, Arts Walk kicks off Friday night, and then Saturday throughout the day, 4:30 on Saturday, the Procession of the Species. If you have friends and family in town from out of town, definitely show them the Procession of the Species, 4:30. It is something that they will soon not forget. And at the new website, iFiber1newsradio.com, our brand new site, under the Recreation tab, you've got some information up there.
You can volunteer to clean up the coastal beaches. You can do that on Saturday. We have some information on our website about that under the Recreation tab. Also, Friday for Earth Day, it's a free day at all state parks. And then there's the razor clam dig that begins today, and there's more proposed in May. And we have all that information on the Recreation tab on iFiber1newsradio.com.
That's right. Check out our new page at iFiber1newsradio.com. You can still get there by typing in KMAS.com, and also you can follow us on the Facebook at facebook.com/1030KMAS. We're on Twitter at iFiber1Radio, and we stream the show live every weekday morning from 6 until 9. You can watch the show, watch the interviews, and watch it again and again. Carol, have a good day.
You too, Jeff.
We'll be back tomorrow. It's Thursday, and Tom Hartman's up next.